that's here.
I just want to say that we at the LCK do not condone mascot-on-mascot violence.
As it turns out, yes, we do. Because we're showing it on the fan sign. It's right there. Oh, God. Do you want to be a prophet or what? I guess we'll just wait. Because we have seen this before, guys, up until the third pick on red side.
It's going to be Azir.
Wow. How do you know?
I mean, we kind of called that one the first time around.
Yeah,
anyway.
that's actually a very good point.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think probably the Bard makes a lot of sense for GENG to ban out. For T1, I guess it's kind of hard to ban because they can still flex the Aurora, even though there's a good chance it's going towards Keen, I would think.
I mean, Chovy does like playing it. It's an okay matchup into the Orianna as well, so maybe they're very happy just to hold the flex.
I mean, they're definitely happy to hold the flex. I just think it's tricky for T1 to ban the solo lanes with the Aurora having been locked in, so maybe just look towards the 80 carries.
Yep.
Maybe a little bit concerned about like a Jhin could be a decent pickup for Ruler.
Yeah, we'll see what Ruler does decide to go with, because of course they do really like running the Corki and the Nico. Feels like this Corki lock-in for Gumushi is actually more of a pick away rather than a pickup for him necessarily.
He's been playing, Ruler's been playing it a lot.
Yeah.
By far his most played.
He has been kind of dominating on it as well. And of course, the Jhin and the Varus are left up and available. We did see the skin reveal for T1. Gumushi does have a Varus skin now.
Yeah, there's that Bard ban, no surprise.
Yep. 103% seems to be coming off. But maybe there should be a bit of Bard banned in the next one as well.
Yeah.
I think that's how it's supposed to work.
I think so.
It needs to be like a champion that starts with B or something like that.
They ban out the Ambassador, aware and concerned that obviously it could be a flex. Seems like maybe they're leaning towards the... I mean, Ambassador's a decent matchup in the Gwen. Maybe they're thinking they want to take the Gwen anyway into the Aurora.
Oh, it could be the case.
It is not the most fun matchup, but I feel like Aurora just in general isn't fun to play into in the top lane regardless, so...
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be having a good time. It's also Keen. Like, we just know that this guy's pretty good at playing enchanters in general. Sorry, casters in general.
Yeah.
On that top side. He was famously the Rise top guy.
We have seen, though, a lot of times if you're able to survive with the Gwen, get to the later stages, you're still going to be a menace. It's just weathering the storm. They actually banned the Gwen themselves, so maybe thinking the Aurora mid could be coverage for the Gwen.
Yep.
And then having both would just be an absolute menace, so... It'd be interesting to see what Doran does end up bringing out here then, with both of those taken off the cards.
And also, what is Ruler going to play after his gigantic yawn that he just got out there?
Yeah, I feel like you take 80 carry here, you keep the flex open, and then the thing is you can just put Aurora top and you have like a good top lane pick. Despite like so many top lane bans have come through, if you look, you want to ban Rumble, Aurora, and Mbessa, you still have Aurora as an option.
Ooh,
they do go for the Kai'Sa, which fits in with what the comp wants to do, fits well with the Nico. I was thinking they might not lean towards it just because they are going into the Corki who has a good amount of lane pressure, and I feel like normally GENG does want to prioritize a bit more lane pressure, but fine with taking the Kai'Sa in this situation, it appears.
Yeah.
It is a really strong dive comp now.
Yeah.
Fully leaning into that.
And it's also Ruler, right? It's Ruler, Viper, and Diablo that are allowed to play this champion here in the LCK. They have their LPL license, and yeah. Certainly has been some great performances. Speaking of great performances, the Poppy gets through, and Carrier is going to lock that one down.
I think the Poppy pick's good. Not the best matchup specifically into the Nico, but serves a lot of purpose when playing into this dive-focused composition. Good against the Vi, and if you land an ult off against Nico, fantastic. And we're just going to get the Renekton.
The B5 Renekton.
Yeah, ends up being effectively blind. We'll see if they opt to put the Aurora in the mid lane and commit to that.
Yeah, they could theoretically still do that. I'm kind of expecting Keen to play something maybe a little bit more tanky, and that is what he's looking at right now, as the Scion will be considered. Man, this does mean that game number 2, Rumble and Gwen priority, is going to be out the wazoo. It's going to be absolutely insane.
Yep.
As the Scion will be locked in. Just going to try and neutralize this Crocodile as much as possible. So I said we want to look towards that top lane for all of the action to see who's going to be the best top. We don't want to look at the top lane, not anymore. The Renekton will have a fair bit of power in the early stages of the game after a couple of levels, but the Scion will just exist.
I think T1 are pretty okay with this. You know, they end up in They have a comfort pick for Faker. Faker's most played in rounds 3 to 5. You know, Owners on his Xin Zhao, the Orianna Xin Zhao is a good combo. Corki Poppy are going to be very serviceable later on. There's a lot of dive throughout the enemy team. It is pretty scary, but I think overall things have been navigated pretty well. That Aurora Flex, like the Aurora Vi, the dive threat for the enemy composition is scary. Don't get me wrong, GENG do have a comp that has a lot of cohesiveness, but I think the threat of the Aurora Flex is something that kind of just didn't really get utilized, and I think T1 are pretty okay. I think both teams have compositions with strengths and have ways to play out this game.
Artie's getting excited.
I think a lot of it's going to come down to the mid jungle.
Yeah.
Really, because both mid jungles, especially once level 6 is hit, have a lot of pressure.
Yep. This is going to be a little bit of a wait and see until that level 6 mark, but then hopefully we do get some of those fireworks. And thankfully we have a Corki, so we get fireworks from the beginning, no matter what. Let's jump into the Rift here for Game 1 of our Saturday Showdown.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for Game 1 of our Saturday Showdown. T1 taking on GENG for our best of 3 of best of 3s decider, which is very, very cool. There is only one team in the world this year that can say that they're actually facing off against GENG in a best of 3 of best of 3s, because no other team has managed to beat them at all.
Yeah, actually. It's crazy to think how many matches GENG have played and how few.
They do not do losing very good.
Yeah.
That's maybe the thing that they need to work on.
The number of teams who have beaten them in a best of 3, I think it's T1 and Bro, isn't it? For the LCK Cup?
All right, yeah, from the LCK Cup.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's our other 2 best teams here in the LCK. And I guess that's without a doubt. Oh, I'm really glad that you bring that up, Ox. Man, that's why we pay you the big bucks. That's why you're here, for the good stats.
Unforgettable.
Oh, that is absolutely amazing. Also, the tiniest of sample sizes, because, you know, winning against GENG just is a small sample size for every other team in 2025. As Chovy and Faker facing off here momentarily. It looked like an okay trade there for Faker, but Chovy was holding on to that electrocute proc. And so the Orianna is going to be playing this one a little bit back. We did mention already that this can be a rough matchup for the Orianna, but that's mainly because Aurora, if played properly, is just kind of disgusting in lane.
Yeah, especially the electrocute. After they buff that rune, does so much damage. Oh, this is not
yeah,
good.
Keria taking so much damage here. The tempo heal to come out from GENG. And Keria, he's just going to have to go back home. Gumayusi is just going to be clutching that egg underneath that adorable skin, seeing whether he can survive here in this lane, which he should be able to do. I don't think we're going to get a 2v1 dive here out of the bottom lane at level 2.
This is the thing with having the Nico into a melee support, so much power. They hit the level 2 first, T1 not really respecting it, and the root hitting, putting some vital pressure down onto the bot lane of T1. Pretty well played there by Duro.
Yep. And it's not really a lane, like Kai'Sa lanes in general are not ones that we often see doing a whole lot of damage in the early stages of the game. So
yeah, I mean, this is why Kai'Sa Nico has been such a potent pairing, is the fact that there are matchups like this where typically Kai'Sa into Corki you expect to be pressured, but when it's Kai'Sa Nico into Corki Poppy, suddenly you have a Kai'Sa in a winning lane scenario, and that's just phenomenal, because once you get Kai'Sa Nico to the team fights, you're in a great spot.
And it's also Duro's Nico as well, which I feel he is very good at controlling the lane. As I'm glad we panned away so we didn't get too much of that Faker -1, as the cannon did get eaten by the turret a little bit unfortunately there. As Duro just continuing to put the pressure onto Gumayusi. And this is not something that we often see, right? This is the bottom lane that often has all the pressure. And now Canyon, speaking of pressure, is coming down to look for a dive. Gumayusi does have his summoners available, but he may have to use them as the Valkyrie comes out. There's the barrier, as Duro holding onto the turret aggro, and he is a cannon. And so he can do it as Keria now so incredibly low as Canyon just standing next to him. Gets out the steadfast presence as the flash forward. Duro will be able to tank that one up. No buckler death for him. And it's 2 kills here in the bottom lane already for GENG.
Duro just playing that one so perfectly. I feel like playing with T1's bot lane now. Dive coming top.
Yep, Keen could be in a little bit of trouble, and by could be, I mean, he definitely is. Flash out from Ona, that is going to keep him alive. Keen will be able to deal with this wave. Of course, Sion pretty good at getting dove, which is a weird thing to say, but not going to miss out on too much. And he stops the back of Doran there as well, which is quite frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, Duro just completely manhandled the bot lane of T1 there. Played everything perfectly.
Oh, does this mean we get another thumbnail? We might get another thumbnail.
We could do. That's what we're looking for.
The Nico one was really cursed last time as well, so I'm really looking forward to it.
And you know, maybe he gets his POM finally. So here he sets up and baits the slam from Carrier, flashes it immediately, which was just so well played, and then lands the root onto Carrier, gets him low. Goes for the redive here, takes aggro, walks out, the buckler comes in, not enough to kill him.
Yep. And it was actually well played by Carrier there as well, making sure that he doesn't get hit by the Vault Breaker by using the Steadfast Presence, and then going for the opportune counter kill option. Just wasn't quite there for him, just because of how well GENG played it. And so now, 1,000 gold is what separates these two squads. And we are one away from Feats of Warfare here for GENG at the same time, as Chovy and Faker just throwing abilities at one another over and over again. As the ulti comes down here from Chovy, a lot of damage coming on in as Faker getting pushed out of the lane.
Yeah, there was also, this was a thing. I'm not sure if it's still a thing, but if you turn into a cannon minion as Nico,
yeah, I think you do take a bit less damage, right?
Yeah, so I think he turned into a cannon minion specifically to reduce that as well. So really just maximizing the pick.
Yep.
Which, as you can see, he's been getting a lot of success on.
Yeah, I was wondering whether that would be removed, because it seems really broken, but I guess they haven't done it yet. As Doran is just looking to 2v2 kill Ruler and Duro, and that's, I guess, something that you can do at level 6 on this Renekton, as Duro at least is going to get pressured out of the lane. T1 have started off this Dragon, but it's under full vision here of GENG.
Yeah, Duro putting some threat back, but has to be very careful, as Doran with Flash can just kind of one-shot him if he wants to.
Yeah.
Ona does just smite the Scuttle, but carries enough to keep Canyon away.
It looks like they're just not going to go for it because they do have GENG's bottom lane towards the top side of the map. That will mean that just inherently there is less control of that bottom side, but maybe some plates available here as Doran has walked his way back up. Actually, no, didn't actually decide to go back, was just chilling underneath the turret. As the flash forward, looking to lock down the Nico, and Doran just punishes Duro for overstepping.
Beautiful play there from Doran. Knows the summoners are down from that dive in the bot lane. Finds the window. You know, he got him low before with the ultimate. He was waiting for that opportunity, and the immediate punish comes through with the flash.
He is the true epitome of a ruthless predator.
Absolutely.
Know what I'm saying?
And definitely a nice resurgence there. Kind of needed for the side of T1. Finds the window, doesn't get tricked by the clone as well. Connects immediately.
Really nicely played there by Doran. Now doesn't have flash, but I think he's going to be very happy, sitting on 2-0 now on this Renekton. Keen, though, has just been fine, farming towards the bottom side of the map. The Renekton not necessarily benefiting from the lane swap very much as far as the farm is concerned, so that will put a dampener on the massive lead that this Croc does have. But Renekton's getting advantages in the early game is so incredibly important for keeping him relevant as this one goes on, and we'll have that Dominus back available in 7 seconds' time.
Especially with the composition that GENG has. I mean, they do have the DPS to cut through targets, but in the mid game, I feel like this Renekton can kind of just run rampant. If you're focused on like trying to kill the backline, and there's just this Renekton there doing so much damage, especially with the buffs they made to his Dominus, he just kind of melts everyone who's nearby.
Could be a very large problem. Not to mention the skirmishing capabilities of things like Xin Zhao and stuff like that, especially if they can carry the orb around that Faker can deliver. As Chovy just trying to get back to this lane right now. Faker being a little frustrating. But it will just be the Grubs going over to GENG. They do get all 3 of those in trade for the Dragon from earlier on.
Yep, Grubs for Dragon ends up being the trade. Obviously, it was an earlier Dragon pickup from T1, but they weren't really in position to go for the Grubs. And still, it's a situation where, you know, Chovy's up in farm in the mid lane. We have Ruler pretty sizably ahead in terms of the 80 carry role as well.
Yeah, that's actually a massive farm lead that he's managed to pick up, especially on top of the kill and assist that he has put together.
The dive timing was just so ruthless and really put people behind. So definitely playing from a deficit right now. The thing is as well, with this Kai'Sa, and this Corki, both of them kind of spiking at a similar time. Those two items are the big major spikes, so Ruler being ahead of the curve is going to feel really nice for him.
Certainly is. See how long it's going to take him to get that first item locked in.
I will say Black Cleaver already completed for Doran.
Oh, God. Well, Keen, fun times are over. Oftentimes, you get the Kindle Gem and the Bramble Vest, and you're like, oh, I feel great now.
What does Black Cleaver do? It shreds armor, and Keen hasn't had a chance to build any armor.
There you go.
You know?
Nailed it. Oh,
what armor?
Your cup is half full today, Orcs, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's that sort of positivity that we hired you for, obviously, here in the LCK. As Gumiushi Carrier going to be at least picking up this wave for the moment. I feel like we haven't, like, yes, GENG have a lead as Chovy going aggressive here into this mid lane. The Void Seeker is going to miss, as Faker will be electrocuted momentarily. Finds a Shockwave onto Chovy as well, who will tank up this turret. Does hop his way away.
Yeah,
not enough of a dot to grab that plate.
Important thing there was dodging away from the Void Seeker, as I know Ruler definitely would have dove in there, and
yep.
I think Faker, hard to say he would have survived, definitely would have had to flash at minimum.
As Keen doing his very best to fight back here towards this top side, as Doran's still sitting on the Dominus, so he's still very scary, continuing to just fight as much as he possibly can. Keen, though, with the shield and things like this, is kind of feeling all right, as Canyon, moving on over, does have some control vision in the area. Has been pretty quiet, though, on this Vi thus far, mainly just keeping tabs on what Owner has been doing.
Yeah.
Forward to seeing whether this first cease and desist is actually going to work out.
But both the junglers are now full build, as you will have seen.
Oh, yes.
They've completed their entire build path.
Oh,
so.
Owner didn't go to the thrift store to get his free socks, though.
Oh, yeah, that's unfortunate.
Oh, it's a little bit of a shame. Sometimes you got to make sure that you collect those handouts. A little bit unfortunate. That's okay. Canyon at least managed.
Oh no, we got them now.
Oh, there it is. Never mind. Okay,
yeah,
I take it all back.
Yeah, the kill from Canyon when he got it a little bit sooner.
Yeah, okay.
So now they're really full build.
Yep, they really are.
They got everything they need.
I'm really glad that they're both thrift shopping as well. You know, got to get to the bargain bin. Lock down those socks. Can't be walking around the jungle in just your bare feet. They need at least socks on.
They spent all their money on this fancy spear and they just couldn't afford anything else. But do they really need anything else?
Yeah, it's priorities. Yeah. Priorities. It's like if you were to give like a 5-year-old some money and like, here, buy some survival things from the supermarket, and they just come back like with a random toy car from the toys aisle.
And a chocolate bar, you know.
I'm not saying this out of experiences. We've got a bit of an engage. Great snare to come down from Duro, and another kill comes in for Ruler. Now Duro looking to lock down Carrier, but he's not going to find out. Gumiushi does flash away, but it's a double for the Kaiser. Doran trying to get in there as Canyon looking to fend him off. But Cull the Meek not going to quite work out. The heroic charge does come through, though, and Ruler will be locked down. Doran is very scary, but he just goes down. Chovy finds the angle, and it's another Tangle Barbs as the double comes in for Duro. This bottom lane are now just unstoppable.
Great play there from GENG. A couple of answers back, and you can see Doran trying to do as much as he can in the fight. But it starts off with a pick on the Owner, just decimated here. Doesn't get a chance to use the ultimate. The CC layering comes in. He dies without getting any value, and then Guman Carry in a lot of trouble. Duro comes in, flashed away from the ultimate, but Ruler and Canyon can follow. And at this point, Doran's trying to turn things around, but it's a 3v5. So despite how strong he is, despite the fact he can run Canyon down, Faker's zoned away by Chovy. And it's essentially a support and a low HP Crocodile trying to get everything done. And
yeah,
I mean, Faker does find
Faker does find it, yep.
So I think, honestly, testament to Carrier, Doran, and Faker for answering back on those 2 kills, but it was still a massive win for GENG. And the bot lane, 3-1-3 for Ruler, 2-1-4 for Duro. This Kaiser Nico is popping off.
Certainly are. The Kraken Slayer has now been completed as well, and we are moving very quickly towards item number 2, which is going to be just a very frightening moment for T1, as this Kaiser accelerated it in the mid-game with a dive composition such as this. It's just going to be quite difficult to deal with.
Oh man, he's got Cole nearly stacked as well.
Yeah.
If Ruler hits 2 items before Guma gets his 1, it's just over. It is just unplayable.
It's kind of crazy, though, because you can see Canyon moving over here, looking to try and lock down this Dragon. Could be double Dragon for T1 to start this one off, as the knockup does come through, but they're not going to be able to get here. That's going to be a Chemtech Soul, which, honestly, not too bad. Oftentimes, they give you a hard time for this one, but there is a Renekton and stuff like that, as Gumayusi taking a lot of damage here as, yeah, Ruler is just showing off his cool new things.
I think it feels pretty bad for T1 though. You're behind in gold, you've invested in these dragons, you'd love like a Hex Tech.
Yeah, something to help you do a bit more damage.
Something to really just say, hey, yes, we're behind in gold, but if we get a couple more dragons, the game is going to be so much easier.
Think about Poppy though.
I mean,
Carry is going to like actually be tanky.
Poppy's still going to get one hit,
Yeah.
right? If Ruler's this fed, still just going to get exploded.
Oh, I thought your cup was half full, Ox. It was before.
It's a lot less full now.
Yeah, it's not feeling super great, but still, 3,000 gold is, you know, what do we say? Insurmountable, not insurmountable.
It's definitely surmountable.
Who is surmountable?
I haven't actually personally met him. I've just heard a lot about him.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about him, and there's not a lot of teams are in him. As it turns out. As okay, we've got a cease and desist here. Gumayusi is going to agree. He will stop. As Canyon, he may as well. And a teleport in from Doran as well, so that is going to mean that it's T1 favored. Great little pick-off there and good answer from T1.
And I think I just saw surmountable turn up there.
Yeah, he certainly did.
Bit of an overstep from GENG. Only 2 members committing to the play. The response comes in. Guma doing a good job to turn around the damage to get Canyon, and then Ona making the crack call. Knew the tower hit would kill the enemy jungler. Chases down Ruler with the help of Doran, and now we'll be able to pick up the Rift Herald. And this is actually feats of strength for T1. So despite the gold lead.
Oh, not quite.
Oh, no,
Haven't got a first star yet.
Yeah, they need first star. Okay. The objective of the feats of strength. So
yep.
if they have the Herald, they can throw that down and get it.
Exactly. Rift Herald is often a pretty decent avenue towards locking that one down.
Yeah.
They do have a bit of damage onto this outer turret on the top side of the map. Looks like they're going to hold on to it for now as, yeah, Canyon just presses R onto Gumayusi, but still takes a lot of damage back.
Yeah, I mean, he was just dead regardless just from Guma being there, but the follow-up, the immediate TP from Doran, really good to close down on Ruler, who doesn't bid any sums, kind of knows his fate.
Yep.
And yeah, so next tower, first tower is going to be feats of strength. Herald in pocket for Ona, so I think them looking to get that would be a big boon.
I was surprised as well that Ruler wasn't quite able to finish off any extra items as he goes back either. Wasn't actually able to put enough money together as he is sitting on just over 1,000.
Yeah, it has. I mean, he's 2,000 ahead of Guma.
It's insanity.
If you look, he's 2,000 ahead. The goal lead is about 2,000. Doran's 800 ahead. Dura's 800 ahead. Everyone else is about even. It's basically just the gold lead is Ruler, which, you know, if you want to have a gold lead, so it's a good place to have a gold lead for GENG. But
if they deal with him,
that gold lead kind of just disappears. And it's actually now higher level than Ruler, only slightly. But I think that's a big thing as well. You know, level's important in the Corki. You have that level 11, you have the extra rocket damage. Those kills, the fact that Ruler died going a long way. So it's not all doom and gloom.
Ooh, Doran.
One right now.
Gonna get poked a little bit here, but otherwise not too much more. Ruler does finally put that Rage Blade together. As Canyon's moving over, but there are a lot of people underneath this turret. Looks like T1 do want to employ the Rift Herald, and he does go down. That's a great double shockwave from Faker, as Canyon and Chovy looking a little worse for wear. This isn't going to be the tower falling down immediately, and Keen looking to try and get some pressure down. Let's see whether he can find an angle as he slows down Doran, but they just turn onto this Scion. GENG not able to protect him, and Keen has to flash to get himself out of the way. Blooming Burst not quite doing enough here as Chovy walks
and look
into
at
the river here. They've got so much vision of this area as that. You look for it. Doran underneath the turret, but maybe it's a bridge too far still. They managed to lock that turret down and trade for their Renekton. Cease and desist, and they just mow them down. Keen not going to quite find the window here as another Tangle Barbs comes in, and Owner is also dead. It's a triple for Ruler. Oh no! It looked so good for T1 until it was a disaster.
Such an overstep there from T1. The health bars were low. They felt like they'd done enough to get the tower, but they look for the fight. They step too far. Ruler on that massive item spike. So easy for him to clean up those kills. And it's a disaster for T1.
Oh, man, what happened?
But Doran goes forward, trying to zone them off so they can get the tower. They knock away the Scion, but Doran gets the Chovy on this flank angle, gets so much burst with the help of Canyon, with the help of Ruler. Canyon reset to come back in with help. And the cleanup comes in. You gotta remember as well, the Shockwave was already on cooldown, used to chunk them out before.
Yep. Did do a lot of work at the beginning of that, which is why things were looking pretty good for T1, but in the end, certainly was not positive. Canyon now going to move over and look for that first Chemtech Dragon as well, so that Dragon stacking will be stopped.
The problem there was, it was the sort of fight where T1 were really more focused on the turret. That was their objective in that. They were like, we want to take the turret, Doran, go zone them off. If we can get some kills, great, but the main focus was taking the turret there. And GENG were just absolutely laser focused on we can just wipe them, especially with how strong Ruler was. And I think T1 just kind of disrespected GENG in the moment.
Yep.
And was so and now this 7-2 Kai'Sa.
It's kind of ridiculous. And also it's Ruler with an advantage, and I feel like teams play differently based on who's on the team and who has leads, right? When Ruler has a lead, decisiveness is never his problem.
Yeah.
He's always going in, he's always commanding his team to do things. He's like, I'm strong, let's kill them all. And that seems to be the game plan here for GENG whenever T1 are overstepping like they were. As now Carrier looking to get some vision down around this Otacon, which could be a real point of difficulty here for T1.
The thing is as well, I'm really worried because he's going this third item, Nash's Tooth.
Yep.
When he gets a Seeker's Arm Guard, like, one of your big tools to shut down Ruler is the Shockwave. Once he gets a Seeker's Arm Guard, he's just not going to work anymore.
Yep, you just see the little circle and you press your button.
Yeah, and that's not that far away. That is really not that far away from being at that point now, so I'm very worried for T1. The next 5 or so minutes are going to be really pivotal. If they find a big way to get back in the game, if they find a favorable fight, maybe they catch Ruler out. If he buys a Seeker's Arm Guard and uses it in a bad way, that's why I can see them get back in this game. But if they lose another fight, it might just be curtains on this one.
Yep. Does feel a little bit like their fate is no longer in their hands. But we'll see. GENG have been fallible only against T1 in recent memory. Here from rounds 3 to 5.
T1 are T1, so that is...
Oh, but also GENG haven't had the option of facing off against the bros.
Yeah, for their sake, you know.
Yeah, so we don't necessarily know. It could be that any of our Rise Group teams could take games off GENG.
Legend Rise was implemented just to protect everyone from bro.
Yeah, yeah. Or protect GENG from bro, basically, is how that one generally goes. And understandably so. They've been terrorizing them for years. Oh, no. Man, I loved talking about the top lane matchup and how important it was, and it hasn't been very important. It's been Keen trying to frontline for his team while Doran tries to win the game for his team. Doran having a pretty good performance thus far, but the problem is he's still Renekton as... Okay, so 3 items comes in as the 2 item spike is hit for the Corki, which feels less like a spike.
It's at least a big spike for the Corki. Guma's now doing some damage, but Ruler is just... He's at an ungodly level of strong. But again, he doesn't have that defensive option. He does have a summons though, but if you... He will die still if you hit him with a Shockwave and maybe some other stuff as well. That's a big if. He has a lot of tools to avoid that, namely his Flash. But at least Guma is now putting out some respectable damage. Maybe not to the Scion, but to other people for sure.
Yeah,
Problem is Faker's not got Aurora fully stacked. His Seraph's isn't finished yet. So he's kind of not really putting out that much damage compared to what you'd be hoping right now.
And Trevi is looking very strong with his Riftmaker as well as... Okay, getting stunned up here by Doran momentarily as he does pop his way away. Just a little bit of, you know, a Griffin reunion, or a DRX reunion there for both of these players. As Keen looking for a bit of that Scion cheese from the brush.
Maybe that minion just decided to jump in the air.
Yeah. That's probably what Gumayushi was thinking.
It just doesn't...
This is curious, but, you know, it's some spaghetti. As Owner is off to the side, this Otacon down to 50%, it's taking so much damage, man. If Ruler decides, things just go down, but Doran has found a flank angle, and Owner gets himself in there. It looks like they're not interested in the Otacon. A cease and desist will connect, fully charged Q onto Doran, and he is going to be the first one to go down. Pop Blossom to deal with Carrier, and they do manage to do it. It's just front to back here for GENG as Ruler goes in, looking for the last few shots. The Supercharger comes down for Gumayushi. He outplays it. Duro now in trouble as Otacon is looking to finish him off as Keen. Can he get over this wall to lock him down? And he has the flash. And Gumayushi, not many ways out here. Faker has actually taken out Chovy off to the side, and he gets the Otacon! All of the pedals going their way, and now they have the DPS. Keen, he's just a tank, and he has to walk it off.
What a clutch play from T1! Just when you think they need a fight win to keep their hopes alive in this game, they managed to find one. Guma clutching the 1v1 against Ruler. We see the play comes in. Doran looks for a flank on a Chovy. Really starts to put a lot of pressure onto him. He has to flash away. Canyon then looks for Doran, and Doran just gets put in the bounce house. Brutalized here. Ona goes aggressive with Kerry, who just gets blown up, but a lot of tools have been used by GENG. And then when Ruler dives forward, he's tanking Arakan. Guma just blows him up as well. Great play from him. Puts some poke back on Aduro. And then Faker disengages and then makes the call to TP back in.
Yeah, and like, Chovy was almost dead to Arakan.
Flashes to kill him. And the thing is, Chovy was using his abilities on Arakan to finish. He had no cooldowns. That was such a clutch play from Faker and Guma, this duo, keeping the hopes of the team alive.
That was absolutely ridiculous. Man, it's good to have the T1 circus back here for T1 versus GENG. And that's going to keep things at least competitive. We do want to bring everyone back to the realm of reality. It's still a decent lead here for GENG. They managed to grab themselves an extra dragon, but now it's just 2 apiece between the 2 squads. And so that soul point will be available for either team in 4.5 minutes time.
Rod of Ages came in and the pedals, so Fake is level 16.
Oh my god, 2-level lead.
Yeah, I mean, Chovy's about to hit 15, but still, it's a big spike for the Orianna. You know, they got a lot of power from the Arakan, and they got those kills as well. Shutdowns, you know, Guma got the shutdown on the Ruler. It's a 2,500 gold lead for GENG, but with Arakan and with the feats of strength, this game feels pretty even.
Yep, certainly has been brought back to relatively level. Red buff will be stolen away here by GENG, but I believe T1 managed to get the one towards the top side in GENG's base, so that will be A-OK. Some pings out onto exactly where Chovy is as he moves up to catch that wave on the top side of the map. And Faker has all of a sudden become absolutely massive in this game, and I'm reminded of what everyone was talking about in the pre-show, and that was, if T1 are going to beat GENG, it's often on the back of Faker getting things done. And 2-0-2 with those 2 core items fully stacked up. Level 16, this Orianna is getting kind of massive.
I mean, I think something that's just so consistently been true for Faker in the past couple of years, I mean forever, but specifically the past couple of years when they've won Worlds, is just finding those clutch moments just to say, we're winning this game.
Yep.
And, you know, they haven't won this game yet, but if they do, we're going to look at that moment where he TP'd in at low HP to Arakan, just killed Chovy, took the neutral, and was like, see you guys, thanks for the buff.
Yep. Honestly, all is planned, probably. Looked like it was just the game plan all along. Just distract them, everyone else, and we'll get the job done in the end. Now, looks like aim of the game is going to be locking down this Baron, or at least making sure they have vision. Banana brush control there for Carrier, as there's wards for everyone in this pit.
I've read the game now with Arakan taking off the cards. Both teams at 2 dragons each, and it being a Chemtech soul. It is just going to become, I feel like, a lot of dancing around the Baron.
Yep.
I think often games become really hard to control when that Arakan is, you know, it was on the bot side of the map. If Baron is spotted as well, if it's a high pressure soul and one team's in soul point. But now I think both teams just kind of trying to maintain vision around this area and maybe seeing if they can set up a pick and find something. And Zonya's has been completed for Ruler.
That's a big deal.
That is a big deal indeed.
Also a big deal for the graphics team, because they unfortunately got the graphic up a little bit late. And so that one wasn't actually on there just yet. It's fine. You can see it right now. 4 items done for this Kai'Sa.
I mean, that's the thing, is that you're in a composition where if you look at it from GENG, their dive is phenomenal. But when all is said and done, their sustained damage is mostly just Ruler. And their gold and their carry potential is mostly just Ruler. You know, once Chovy's used his ult and his cooldowns, like, yes, he gets another rotation of cooldowns, but outside of that, you know, I feel like after that first 5-10 seconds of the fight, it's kind of Ruler's job to clean up. And if he does get caught out, if he gets chunked, I think that's really where this T1 composition can shine. So.
Yeah, they get moments to breathe, right? Yeah. The opening salvo is what they really need to make sure that they can absorb.
And also, if Ruler does end up going down or getting chunked, then I think that's where GENG's composition can really struggle to match up to, you know, Orianna, who can Q every 2 seconds and pump out a ton of damage, or Corki, who just does autos with the extra 2 damage he's doing a ton. He has just picked up LDR as well.
7 levels ahead of What? Well, he's also, like, what, 8 levels ahead of Keria, as there is the Shockwave. Duro is going to be able to find the Tangle Barbs, but that level discrepancy between the supports and Faker is just sanity.
He's approaching 18 as well. And the thing is, his build, going the Rod of Ages and the Seraphs, it felt like in the mid game was a bit of a trough, you know, waiting for both of those to stack up, but now giving just a ton of AP and a good amount of survivability as well with the shield and the extra health.
Yep. I do love when, you know, in-game mirrors real life as well. Because Faker does have way more experience than everyone else. And that's just how it is on the Rift. Looks like Keen is going to try and punish him for it, but he's not going to be able to do so. Not a lot of follow-up in the area.
Yeah, Dragon spawning up, so teams are starting to set up around this and pull a little bit away from the Baron. Do see Chovy looking on this flank angle.
Yeah, Keria is going to get spotted here by GENG as Keen moving in, wanting to find the angle. Chovy throws down between worlds. There's the Void Seeker connecting for Ruler as he gets dove on by the Renekton. Pop Blossom does nothing at all, and now Canyon's in trouble. Void Seeker is going to connect. There is the knock-up, and Ruler is over the wall. He takes down Gumayusi, goes golden to keep himself alive as Keria is trying to be a hero. But it is going to work. They do get Ruler, and now it's Chovy needing to kill Faker in this game, because if they don't, he might be able to just win this one by himself. He wants to take the Aurora, but the Orb doesn't have the range. Ona wants to get in there. There is the stasis to avoid Keen, but he's so extremely tanky. And Chovy's not going to risk it this time around. Ona just audaciously charging this Brambleback. And yes, Keen is kind of immortal against these champions as Chovy's making his way back, and that is T1's cute exit.
We'll have to back away. Keen got so much presence here. Chovy TPing back in, now looking.
Yep, doesn't get it.
Faker still so scary here, and you can see once Ruler went down, it kind of became a little bit delicate for GENG in this situation. The initial fight, Ona has to tank the Sional. They get caught out by a great ult from Chovy. Ona just kind of gets bounced around, but they immediately jump on a Canyon, target him, take him down, peel back. Guma, unfortunately, gets caught out by the Q from the Sion. Flashes over, but a great read from Ruler, follows him over the wall. Then here, Keria slams, combos with Faker to take out the Kai'Sa. And that's where it gets a little bit goofy.
Yeah. Because
Chovy just doesn't have enough damage to finish off these targets quick enough. Faker surviving for so long, especially because he runs out of mana. And then it's Duro and Keen just kind of
bopping him a little, like just trying to hit them with the little pool noodles.
Yeah, and Ona healed up, and both teams like, okay, this is a little silly. Let's just back off. And now we're back on the map, right? But a lot of summoners were burned. And what's really important is that every flash on T1 is down. GENG still have 3, and they're 3 really big ones because they're on both their carries and on Duro. So I'm a little worried for Guma. I'm a little worried, less so for Faker because he has Zhonya's, but particularly for Guma. And in fact, T1 aren't even opting to contest the Dragon. That's how concerned they are about moving into an area they don't have vision, on the back of the fact that they don't have flash on their carries.
And it is Soul Point. They have started off this Baron as Duro not going to get stunned. As there's the knock-up coming on through. Duro gets over the wall, but I don't think he's necessarily in safety just yet. That Tangle Barbs may have helped out as Doran looking to get in there. The Pop Blossom, though, is going to hold him up in the air, and Duro will survive. That was some very cheeky Nicoing, and that means that the Baron is going to get stopped as now Canyon, he's the one in trouble, and Gumayusi does a lot of damage. Cease and desist will not be acquiesced at this point in time. And there goes the jungler, and the Baron's up.
Yeah, so big pick to get Canyon down. They want to set up for this Baron, but Doran is low, and they're still cautious about the potential for a fight. They're now looking for more.
Yep, Mega Cone does get Ona in there as between worlds goes Chovy. Knock-up is going to come on through for Keen, but he is still melting here against T1. He does find some knock-ups, but doesn't get the Q. Void Seeker going to come on down here as Ruler. I don't think he wants to fight this. The Zombie Scion will be taken down, and T1 keep everyone alive, and this should mean Baron.
Yeah, the fact they got Chovy's ult as well, a big tool down. The poke is coming in from Ruler. Remember, he has the reset his W every time it lands.
Yep, Chovy's still up as well, as there is Doran setting up that Dominus. He's had a beeline towards Ruler every single time, but this health bar is just getting softened up. The Baron's likely to go down, but can they get themselves out? And the answer is absolutely yes. And T1 highway robbery here as they have now reduced that gold lead to 1,000, which means approximately 0.
Yeah, beautifully played there from T1. The pick on Aduro not quite working out, but it was the pick set up by Guma and Ona onto Canyon. They saw all of GENG collapsing in and they waited for him in the brush. You'll see that coming out here. So initially, find this play on Aduro. Carrier doesn't quite get the slam because of the rocket belt that came through. Aduro flashes away, and then they try to catch him like, we get the support. It's very hard for them to establish vision, can chase him down. But if you look on the map, you see all of GENG collapsing in, and Canyon walks over a control ward, and immediately Ona and Guma are like, we can kill him. And Guma has so much damage, they go in on him. Ona even blocks the charge. They're able to clean him up. They know he has no flash. And then this is where they move on to Baron, but they're like, we need more kills. We can't just go 5v4 onto Baron with Doran being low. They obviously play to get the pick on a Keen because, frankly, Guma's doing a ton of damage now and can shred the Scion.
Certainly is.
And now with this Baron looking to push, and that gold lead 1,600, but with the Baron in pocket, they can close that out.
Already you can see Rebel Baron power play only sitting at 1,000. That still has almost 2 minutes to
look at that damage.
Even more. Yeah, Gumyushi is really scary. Lord Dom's now done as well as the IE. And so GENG will not have any of these turrets fall just yet, but on this push, it should be this one going down as Canyon looks for an angle. Doesn't quite get over the wall, but there is Between Worlds for Chovy, looking to try and lock down Ona here as the Tangle Barbs will connect. But Keen just can't really frontline anymore. Yeah,
and I feel like Ona has kind of been playing like a tank Xin Zhao, where he's just been absorbing so much, and it doesn't seem like a fun role, but when GENG approach, he's just there to block and make sure they can't get access to the backline. And now T1 looking for this mid-tier 2 without the Aurora ult. Feels like a lot of pressure, not able to be there.
Yep.
Another picked up. That's 2,400 on the Baron power play so far, and that gold lead non-existent now for GENG.
200 gold. And at 36 minutes into the game, less than 0 is what that means. Look at all of this vision around the dragon area as well. Oh man, does this mean that we're going to 3 dragons apiece? And the game is just going to be locked up. Likely we've got another 10 minutes until the Elder comes up. That is exactly what we wanted here for our Saturday Showdown in the final week of regular season play for 2025.
This is just game 1, you know?
Yep.
This is what we've been hoping for. Get the Crypt Balloon coming in from Faker, so he's got 4 items. Level 18, of course, as is Guma. Chovy and Ruler approaching level 18 themselves. And at this point, it is full build for Ruler with the Rabadons in pocket. So he's obviously doing a good amount of poke with those Void Seekers, a good amount of damage on targets he can connect on. But it is starting to feel like GENG struggling at times to just have the throughput in the fights.
Yeah.
You know, if they can't kill these backliners, and they've done a decent job, I'd say, of targeting Guma, but Faker hasn't died yet, right? And he has a good amount of health. He has the shielding for the Seraphs. He has the Zhonyas. All summoners are now back up for T1. It's not always enough just to kill the Corki, and a lot of the time Guma's done a good amount of damage in return when he has gone down, if he has gone down. So GENG, their engage really needs to be on form, and I think I'm looking really at Duro on this Nico. If he can find a big pop blossom, that can be make or break in this game.
Yep. There's a knock up from Keen as Canyon looking for a little bit of an angle. Chovy is going to teleport in. So that is Summoner Spell used. Canyon with a bit of a wraparound as the dragon has now spawned. Void Seeker does find Gumyushi. Kind of a big deal as this Rabadon's Death Cap has been completed. Valkyrie is a good trade for that one. As Keen now moving his way in. That health bar is getting real large. As Chovy on that angle, Canyon moves into the pit. I think unseen there as now Doran dives on top of Chovy. Can he actually get himself out? He goes between the worlds, but the Krog Lord has him exactly where he wants him, and the dragon goes over to T1. Keen is looking to go down here as well as no redemption for the Scion, and T1 finding the angles in the late game.
Such a great read from Doran. Chovy trying to be annoying on this side, harassing, looking to find an angle on the Aurora. Immediately Doran pounces, pins him down, chases him with the help from the Krugs to take out Chovy.
Why would he go to his natural habitat?
He doesn't know. He gets the lair bonus there, and now
he did.
5v3. T1's just looking to end.
Yep, Carrier looking to get into position here. That is definitely this inhibitor going down. Let's see how much more that they can collect. As there is no Baron, they can deal with the wave theoretically, but there's a lot of low-range members on GENG. And T1 will have front row seat to this. Here's the engage as Ruler dives in, immediately does go golden and does flash away. Can he stay alive? That's the question. The answer is no! Owner is able to lock him down as Canyon gets into that back line, but it's not going to be enough. And T1 they were losing the entire game until they weren't, as Keen is going to show up, looking to try and deal with this wave as best he can. They might be able to do it here for now, but that's another zombie Scion. And Doran running amok in this fight as well. This one may not necessarily be completely over just yet, but I think the writing is on the wall as T1, phenomenal performance late in this game. Duro and Chovy trying to get this one done. Out goes Chovy, no between worlds for you. And Gumayusi just needs a few shots on this Nexus. Chovy not going to be able to finish him off. And there it is, T1 with a game 1 win.
And done in such a T1 fashion. GENG having the goal lead, having the advantages, but the clutch plays came out. The TP in to kill Chovy to take the Atakan from Faker. Just so many moments, Doran finding Chovy on the flank. It just felt like T1 wanted it more. And you know, this is for their second place spot. They had a rough week where they got that upset in the receiving end from KT. They were locked in this match.
I mean, they were and they weren't. They certainly locked in towards the end. You're absolutely right. The early game was still a bit of a disaster here.
Hey, it's not a T1 match without some shenanigans.
Exactly right. You certainly need to sign up for the circus, but we do have to stay honest with how this one went. Gumayusi, in the end, did more damage than Ruler, which is kind of ridiculous because he was, you know, absolutely massive in this game. Just at the end, wasn't able to get past Doran. Every time Doran saw him, he was flashing on top and just doing the walk, as Noguri says.
I mean, Doran just, that final moment where he just saw the Aurora, and then typically a pick where you feel like you can't be punished, especially not by a Renekton. Found the window, teamed up with the Krugs, took him down. T1 in great form right now.
They certainly are. Let's see whether they can do it again in game number 2. It will be a bit of a side switch. Maybe that means that the likelihood of a 3-game banger for our Saturday showdown is high. Let's hope so as we go to a short break, and when we get back to Space, gonna break that one down. We'll have game number 2. See you soon.
사이언 내가 뺄게. 오라 마크 할게. 오라 마크 할게. 오라 마크 할게. 오라 마크 할게. 오라 마크.
여유 많아, 여유 많아.
살려줘. 천천히.
여유 있어.
형 빼야 돼.
야, 시간 많아, 이거.
길게.
길게.
천천히.
미드부터 이거 라인.
한 중에 딱.
보너 쳐, 보너 쳐.
괜찮아.
쳐. 야, 기다려봐. 한번 해봐.
오라 공 있어. 오라 공 있어.
야, 앞에 갈게.
인포 녹음 높을.
이거 끝내줄만해. 기다려봐.
오라 W.
공 돌릴게, 해봐. 내가 마크 할게, 기다려봐.
파워부터.
나왔어. 날렸어. 알았어, 뭐, 더도 하고. 실드 한 번만.
없어. 너가 먹어.
빼자.
파워 쳐.
올라가.
갈게요.
It's pretty privileged as well that they managed to get tickets.
Yeah.
That's very, very impressive.
I think they might have some connection.
You think they have ins?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that'd be weird.
You know, I think they actually, I think Impact knows Faker personally.
Oh, do you think so?
Yeah, I think they have they were formerly co-workers. I don't know.
Oh, that must have been a long time ago. That sounds like something that it would happen in 2013.
So going to the draft, I think a big thing to mention is the fact that Aurora is gone. So a lot of the top lane picks that normally get hammered down by here will kind of be freed up.
Yeah.
So I think big talking point is Rumble was obviously banned previously. Rumble kind of gets manhandled by Aurora. I feel like the Rumble priority will be really high, might get banned again.
Yep.
But then there's also the conversation of Gwen and Bessa, so we'll see how that plays out. Right now, it looks like T1 might be going for the Ape, Azir, Yunara, Pantheon.
Yep.
I'm not going for Yap or Pei, but
AP.
AP?
AP could have happened. That would have been fun.
Yeah, that could have been good. On the other side, GENG, very focused, not things we typically see in the first rotation, but denying the bot away from Carrier, denying the Jarvan away from Owner.
This makes me feel like they want to pick Rumble into Zyra Khan.
Well, this is interesting because they banned the Bessa, and Bessa typically good into Gwen, but you
Yeah, so
feel
maybe
like,
it's the Gwen first pick.
but you feel like they'd probably want to go Rumble.
Well, it's also Doran, and his Ambessa has been
Oh, they left the
incredible.
Pantheon.
Yeah, okay, so I guess it's Pantheon.
Okay.
What is it, the 4th time that Canyon's been allowed to play it?
I mean, the thing is, what is going to get traded off in return? I presume it might end up being top, so maybe you go like Rumble Rise, perhaps?
This is actually the 5th time
Actually-
that he's played it.
So-
he has lost on it 1 time, though.
Wukong, which was banned last time by GENG, is open. So T1 are going to get their hands on Wukong. I presume you're probably going to go top mid and then go jungle on 3. So maybe T1, especially with the Oregon, Rise is Faker's next most played. He did play Galio as well, but I presume they're probably going to lean towards... So
Ooh,
maybe
Annie.
go
Annie's available. They could do the Rise group special.
the Annie Wukong.
That
That's
could
also a
happen.
possibility. Maybe they want to save the top lane pick, but I think it with the Ambessa gone, I think the Rumble Rise just... Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. Rumble, if the Gwen's picked, I think that matchup is favored. Although we have seen Gwen do better than you typically expect, I still think it's very favored, especially with how strong Rumble is at the moment. But Keen is still happy to take the matchup.
This is an exciting one. It's kind of what we were looking out for as far as this top lane matchup is concerned. A little bit more feisty, you can imagine, in that top lane, as the Galio going to be the answer here for Chovy. Has been historically pretty good at this champion, as we know.
It's a pretty scary matchup, the Pantheon Galio. As much as there is that global pressure from the Rise, the double globals of the Pantheon Galio makes it really hard to have pressure in the side lanes. And it looks like they're not going to go for the Wukong, instead going to go for the Trundle. Obviously, a lot of pillar value into those triple melee champions on the top side of GENG.
Yep.
You have the Galio, who's a decent shred option, as obviously he starts off building a bit of MR, so he's always going to have some decent resistances regardless. The Gwen also has a decent amount of resistances from her Shroud. So even if they don't have a true tank, still gets a decent amount of value. But GENG's top side still just looks so scary.
Certainly looks frightening. I also think that the setup that they have as well for the bottom side of the map, if Ruler is going to be on a hyper carry, could be pretty scary as well. With the double globals, you can always be there to protect him, in theory. Lucian going to be taken away here. And I imagine Gumishi pretty happy to play things like the Varus or the Jhin in this instance, so he will be able to get his hands onto at least one of those.
Varus, Jhin, even the Sivir as well, I think is a decent shout.
True.
I think those three are kind of the ones in my mind that would be prioritized. Obviously saw the Alistair ban come through.
Feels like a difficult game to play something like a Zeri as well, with the pillars and the equalizers and everything like that, not to mention Rune
also
Prison.
danger of making you come very short-ranged.
Yeah.
If you go for the Zeri. I mean, it's definitely playable. It's just it is a concern, especially into things, you know, those two mid laners, the two solo laners, the Rumble and the Rise, do kind of check you as a Zeri. You know, you dash in and then suddenly they're just in your face,
Yep.
melting you.
Will the Varus get banned here? That is the question. Or will they take away something like a Rakan, which could be extremely powerful, and that is going to be the decision here.
Yep.
Not going greedy, because they could have instead waited and then picked Zyra Rakan for themselves, but the likelihood that that Rakan is going to get locked in, a little bit too frightening. And so now the temptation to play Zeri is going to be there. Teams do like playing it into the Sivers. There's a bit of a grin for Ruler. I think like Jinx would be fun.
Also kind of denies the Varus as Sivir often picked into Varus, so kind of lowers the priority on taking that. Could go, I mean, Jinx is something you could in theory go into the server, but we haven't really seen too much of it. Looks like they do want to commit to some engage, which I think makes sense when you do have the Galio, having something to set up for that. As much as the Pantheon can do that point and click stun, I don't think it's quite enough. It does give a great target for the Rumble, though. You drain those resistances when you go in with the Rels, so another target for the Rumble to be able to ult. And now the 80 carry pick for Ruler.
Yeah, continuing to have a bit of a think about it here is Ruler. I imagine he's like, can I play Ezreal? Because I really want to play Ezreal. But I hope it's not the case. Also a little bit worried about this one.
I think Zeri probably makes the most sense. I'm trying to think what else he would play.
Jinx. But it's going to be Zeri instead. And so this is going to be potentially a difficult one for Ruler to play out. As what are we playing, Carrier? What have we been cooking up? Zillion. Well, as we know, there's no Killian the Zillion. That's a Silas that he's hovering, so maybe we're not being serious just yet. Let's see what he does decide to lock in. Can be, of course, the Nautilus, which does work out relatively well, but instead, Renata will be locked in.
Okay, so, I mean, this is a thing we talked about, right? The melee topside, the short-range composition, one of the best champions at punishing short-range compositions is Renata. You're forced to dive in against T1. There's no real option about that. And now you're diving into a Trundle, you're diving into a Renata, and it's going to be pretty difficult. I feel like if we get to the later stages against T1, if GENG aren't crisp, if they end up face tanking the hostile takeover, things could get very messy very quickly. So I think T1 have some powerful tools behind them, and it's really going to come down to this Pantheon Galio. This is such a strong duo. They have so much global pressure. We could very much see GENG running away with this game as a result, but if they don't, I think the 5v5s, T1's going to have a lot of power leading towards those.
It's going to be so incredibly scary. The amount of ricochet value that they will get from this low-range composition is going to be just absurd. And being a Zeri and being able to move really fast and skate around, it matters to a point, right? But when there's equalizers everywhere, when you're basically having to dodge the fire every single time, it just becomes a really difficult World of Warcraft like late game boss raid encounter, where you can't really do the DPS quite as well because you're too busy wondering about mechanics and not wanting to stand in the fire. And we'll see whether Ruler has actually practiced or not. New expansion coming out, maybe he's been playing it. Let's get on to the Rift, get into game number 2.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for game number 2, T1 versus GENG. GENG needing a win to get us to a third game, and T1 wanting a victory here to clinch that second place. We were talking about steak a lot earlier on in the week. Sorry, vegetarians, but there's certainly a lot in this game as well. Amazing that our Saturday showdown in our final week of the regular season still has a lot to play for. Not necessarily on GENG's side, as they have already locked in first place as of months ago, but for T1, this means a whole lot. And I feel like you're exactly right, Ox. I think that this draft for T1 is looking real frightening.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily have a lot of range themselves, but they they have a composition that loves not having range.
Yeah.
And the fact that their opponents also don't means that that melee is going to be pretty scary.
I think there's two sides to it. I think the game is even at the later stages. I think you'll feel really bad because there's a lot of champions that punish low-range comps. But on the other side, I think the GENG game plan is, as I said, the mid-jungle. And then you look at... So the mid-jungle game plan, when you have like the double globals, is play to the sides, and you look at who the sides are, and it's Gwen, and it's Zeri.
Yeah.
And if they get fed, it's just game over. So I think there's definitely ample win cons around that for GENG, but it just comes down to how it plays out. Because obviously last game we saw GENG got ahead, and then weren't able to close out. I do think if they get ahead, if they get the lead that Ruler had last time on this Zeri, I don't think it's going to be as difficult.
Yeah, that's going to be a different story.
Yeah, but we'll see what they're able to do.
Rel hasn't been so good here in the Legend group, as we can see. A couple of those losses also being Duro.
I feel like in terms of engaged supports, she's kind of fallen down a good amount in terms of the tiers. She's had a couple of nerfs, but just if you think about the engaged supports that are really prioritized, there's like Nico, Alistair. I'd probably say Rakan is next.
Yep.
And
Vega.
as much as Rel does have a lot of power, I think she's just not really been hitting the same.
Not quite. Certainly not in the results. And that is the kind of analysis that I am into. Because that means that it resulted in that thing.
Yes.
And that just must be the best. As the results of Chovy's early game have been going down to about 200 health, but hasn't really been suffering too much as far as farm is concerned.
I just feel like this is just what we... this is just the standard Galio experience.
Yep.
Just pain, pain, pain. Oh, I got to recall? Okay.
I guess we're fine.
We're fine. I got to buy magic resist. We're chilling.
Less fine here in this bottom side of the map for GENG.
Yeah, not a fun lane matchup. And that's the thing. I feel like it's 3 pretty favorable lane matchups for T1.
Yeah.
You know, mid lane, I mean, eventually it gets to the point where Chovy can just one-shot waves and ignore the damage from Faker. But at the start, Faker's going to have that pressure. The Rumble, obviously pretty favored. And then here, the ranged into melee support in a good spot. And now, looking for a potential dive. They are healthy.
They're healthy, but so is this wave. As Extendo Beam does come on through, let's see what Dura can do to keep Ruler alive. As he does Ghost, but that is not going to help him at all. Down will go Carrier, though. And so that is something back, a 1-for-1. But with the Zeri missing out on all of this farm, it is still a huge trade up here for T1 as Canyon looking to charge things up, but not going to quite get on in there as Keen looking a little worse for wear, not wanting to push their luck.
Yeah, not sure what Canyon was going for with that one.
It was just a ramp up, you know. It's kind of like what Rambi the Rhino does in Donkey Kong, where he scratches the ground with his paw.
Yeah, I was
Is it a paw or is it a hoot? It's not a hoot, it's just a foot. Okay, Ruler is up here towards the top side. We're going for a little bit of a lane swap. What are the feet of a Rhino called?
I think it's just hooves as well, right?
They're not hooves, though.
Are they not?
I don't think so. As Ruler may just kill Doran here as he flashes and picks it up. I still don't know anything about Rhino's feet, but I do know the Ruler is going to be very happy with the kill.
Yeah, that seemed a very free kill,
yeah.
to be honest. And I feel like Doran just had the information and definitely could have disengaged that situation. So I was going to say, despite the fact that a kill got traded back in the bot lane, which you're going to see now, still pretty good for T1. What ended up being unfortunate is Carrier actually dies a little too late. So he has the bailout, but Ruler dies too soon. The tower hit is just a little bit too late, so he doesn't get the bailout to come back. But they still deny a lot of farm, and it's actually Dura who gets the kill. So I think T1's still pretty happy with that. And then Doran,
Just didn't flash to follow the flash, I guess. Because they could have both flashed, but then I guess Zeri probably still has a dash sooner than the scrap shield is up.
Feeling very generous, I think we'll say.
I guess so. Maybe there was a message. Ruler's like, oh man, that was really brutal. Like you flashing on top of me every single moment in the last game. Can I have one back? Maybe there's some generosity there as Keen. Not going to be treated with very much generosity here towards the bottom side of the map. I say that. Doran is going down so incredibly low as Ona gets in there, tries to put him in the kennel as the ward goes down, and Doran is able to help him burn that one out. So it is going to be double flashes invested here by T1 as Chovy with a Justice Punch that goes the wrong direction, but that is going to be A-okay.
That looked a little spooky for Chovy there. We don't see him commit anymore. Was a little bit conscious that maybe someone's hanging around. But Chovy was like 200 HP there after the Justice Punch, so... But a good gank there from Ona, just to give some pressure back to Doran. If you're wondering, why did Doran not flash? He was saving it for that exact moment.
Exactly, there you go. That got the value for his Trundle.
Oh.
As Duro is flashing in, Handshake is going to come on down as Canyon says, this is my dragon, please leave it alone. And they will say yes.
Yep. Kind of have to back away in that situation with Ona that low. It's so easy for a Pantheon just to execute you. And you know, with Canyon being level 6, with Duro charging in like that, you know he's turning up. So, unfortunate for T1 that they lose out on the Dragon, but I think happy that they didn't lose out on more with their jungler surviving. Yeah, it gets very scary, because Doran doesn't have his ult, and Keen has his. But a good flash to dodge away from the third charge from Keen there, and then just trying to maintain distance. Ona chomping him down. And eventually flashes to commit the kill. Obviously, Keen having the exhaust, not really able to create space.
Nope. No flash available here for this particular Gwen, as Duro is utilizing that Hex Flash, and they will be able to find Guma here. He does have the bailout, but I just don't know whether that's going to be proccing as Ruler looking for more. It is another kill going over to this Zeri. And, Wolf's got a day off today. We'll have to ask him about verification. I don't think we're certifying it just yet. but we will have word for you when he does let us know exactly when this Zeri is like potentially online.
That timing seemed flawless from Rula and Duro.
Yeah, with the spell shield?
With the spell shield. That was so well played. Because you can see Guma's like, okay, Duro's coming at me. I'll spell shield the stun. It's going to be fine. I have my summoners. But watch. So slowdown's perfect. The ult catches the spell shield.
That was crazy.
And then the
that would have been
connects.
milliseconds.
Yeah, I mean, syncing that up, not an easy thing to do, but pulling it off perfectly. And the power of the level 6 from Zeri, obviously very strong. T1's bot lane not expecting to be punished because, you know, you think you're playing Civ, you think you've got the spell shield ready, the safety. But a great punish there from GENG's bot lane, and now the Zeri being 2 1-on-1.
That's a huge deal. And I have confirmation from Wolf in the chat. He has said that this is certified.
Yeah.
So that's kind of crazy. Not necessarily picking up a triple kill in a Dragon Skirmish or anything like that, which is what we've certified in the past. But certainly, he is feeling pretty good. Duro once again Hex flashing over. Gonna get the flash out from Carrier here as well. I feel like Duro's mad. He had some rough moments where his Pop Blossom was kind of interrupted, especially by Carrier. There was a fight around, I believe it was the Otacon pit, where it looked like Duro just solo ulted Carrier, but I think it was largely because the heroic charge had stopped him from being able to do anything after pressing his R button, which could have been a big turnaround. As Duro once again going to be charging that one up. Immediate handshake, as of course full information was there for T1.
I think Carrier missed the brush with the first ward because he just put down a second ward.
It's always good to have more like a backup ward, I reckon.
I think that first ward might have been just outside when he first went up to place it, and that's why he got caught out before it had to bin his flash.
You're exactly right.
Unfortunate. Oh no.
Well, some needlework going to come on through here as Carrier, not going to find the hostile takeover because Keen just walks over it. Now he's looking for Gumayushi, who's not going to have any way out of this one. Duro just pulls him in with the Magnet Storm, and now can we have some Gwen certification as well? Because Keen is kind of massive.
You know, I talked about how this mid-jungle, the Pantheon, and the Galio setting up the side laners. Like, if Gwen and Zeri get fed,
yeah,
it's going to be a big problem. I'm going to be real. The Galio, the Pantheon,
not doing much.
Anything, right? It's just
they're being set up by the cavalry, which is just Duro cantering and hex flashing into every lane.
Duro has decided he knows what the objective is, and he is succeeding massively. And now with Keen and Rula so far ahead, I am very concerned for T1.
I'm a bit concerned for Chovy here as well, as he is going to have to flash to get himself out of this one, but I still don't know whether he's out of the woods just yet. Is going to Justice Punch, and that is going to keep him alive. That is a big flash now on cooldown here for GENG. See whether they are going to be too worried about it. So we're going to check this one out once again. Keen looking very relaxed there in the player cam as he just wanders over. And the hostile takeover is just going to do nothing as a result. There's another flash in live, as we can see in picture-in-picture.
Yeah, just runs them down. Knows they don't have the summoners committing to it with Duro. And it just feels like they've been kind of unrelenting at this point.
Yep, Feats of Warfare comes on through there as well, as we do get the little hover over to confirm that Doran does have his flash now on cooldown, as these minions aren't all going to die, but most of them. So he'll be, okay, he's going to take a fair bit of damage here from Keen, who has Riftmaker done. Doran has a small book.
Yeah, I hope it's a good book.
Yeah. No matter how small it is, Keen has made a rift. And you have a story. Okay, a story that has turned into a different story.
Now he has like a little fidget spinner and a slightly more impressive book. So
yeah, it's a scary book now.
Yeah.
It's fiendish.
Yeah, so a little bit more to play around with.
What is a codex, technically? What's the difference between a codex and like anything else? I think I knew the answer to this at some point in my life.
I feel like I feel the exact same. I feel like I once knew that, and then it's been removed in return for like the AP ratios on Ziggs Q.
Oh, got a little bit of a stun here onto Ona, who does have to flash away. Hostile takeover is only going to connect onto the Pantheon, but he's kind of okay with it as the heroic charge comes down. Bailout will actually activate, but not too much more. As oh goodness, if it wasn't certified before, it certainly is now. Yeah, Wolf was onto something, as that's a double kill. 4-1-2 now for the Zeri, and this isn't a Kai'Sa. This is a little different when it comes to the team fights coming up.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried for T1. I think GENG at this point, you know, even though the gold lead isn't massive. It just feels like they have everything they need right now. They jump onto owner, hostile takeover comes in, and there's a decent amount of AoE that comes back. You can see Faker doing a decent amount, Goop doing a decent amount, but no one ends up dying, and they just see target, kill target. You know, Ruler's just running people down, and this is an extremely fed Zeri. Once
2,000 again!
Yeah. Yeah, it feels more significant this time, though.
I would say so. It did feel pretty significant last time, but the results certainly were not. This is another result of some situations that were happening elsewhere as the teleport brings Faker in, but he doesn't really want to be here. Still, Carrier and Ona are going to turn up, and I don't think Keen is quite as immune as he really wants to be. As the bailout is down onto Ona, and down goes the Gwen. That is going to be Faker getting a kill back. Finally on the board here is his Rise. I don't think this is going to quite be enough to get T1 into the driver's seat, especially with this situation that's now happening in the mid lane.
Ruler is 2 full levels up on Guma.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you see the number, and you're like, oh, he's 2 levels up because, you know, they were, like, close. To be fair, Guma did just get a good amount of XP because he kind of catch up XP, but
yeah.
It is...
It's going to be first turret going over to T1.
Massive lead.
That is going to be a big deal. That will be able to close that gap just a little bit, but it is still 2.5k. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, Gumiushi is going to get magnetized, and Ruler going to zap him a few times. Does actually invest the flash, just to make sure that he's not going to get closed in on, as Owner has found him. And if he gets into Rune Prison range, this could be dangerous for Ruler, who's trying to kite this one out, but it's not going to work. And it's going to be the Rumble that locks down the shutdown. T1 immediately swing that pendulum back. It's not all the way, but it's moving back in their direction.
Okay, you'll take that, you know. Guma's KDA, we learned from the last game, isn't relevant.
It is not. Nor is the gold, which is still 2.6 thousand gold, by the way. That is not as big as, you know, like the lead isn't that big, right? So they're making up for it elsewhere, kind of.
I feel like T1 are doing a good job of finding ways to punish when some of the members are overextended. You know, we typically talk about the Faker sacrifice and then finding something from it. It feels like they're just kind of doing it with anyone. Anytime Dura's setting up a play, they're like, okay, let's just see what we can clean up from this. And this feels bad at first glance, but then the turnaround comes in. The
oh, and Ruler didn't land the slow.
Realm upset, yeah. And here, Faker has flash and thinks I can get him without it. The slow comes in from Ona, even walks away before he knows the Q's gonna hit, and gets that 652 gold shutdown. So Faker getting pretty strong as well now.
Yep. Feats of strength do go over, and this is something that GENG missed out on last time. We'll see whether there's going to be some more Arakan whoopsies as well.
Yeah.
As I do feel like their last draft was a little bit more finesse-based, right? They didn't necessarily, like, they had a Scion, front to back certainly was possible, but it was a lot more bursty.
I mean, it was definitely, they had to kind of dive in. There was a lot of ifs and buts. This one just kind of feels like
Keen and Canyon go in, Chovy go on guy who has aggro, Ruler kill everyone.
You point Zeri and Gwen in the right direction, and you just release.
Yeah.
And that's 90%.
So it's a slingshot.
Pretty much.
Are we gonna? Can we coin that as like the name of this style of composition? The slingshot composition. You wind them up.
Wind them up.
Maybe call it a Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels? I like a Hot Wheels.
Although not all of them are the pullback and then go type little cars, are they? Hot Wheels often just models.
They are pretty great though.
Did you have like one of the Hot Wheels tracks?
Yeah.
Oh man, they were so cool.
Yeah.
Did you ever use it as a track, or was it only ever to launch cars as far as you could launch them?
Launch cars.
Yeah, that was actually the only thing I thought that it was.
You ever play Roller Coaster Tycoon?
Oh yes.
You know there was that roller coaster you could make where I did the loop and just went, and then if you
fired them off into the sun.
You'd make one of those with the. That's what you'd want to do.
And then you finish making one of those, you're like, oh, I finished the game.
Yeah.
I've beaten it. No, this is beautiful. That's fantastic.
That's what you want to do with your Hot Wheels as well. Just
whoop. And then I was actually watching Roller Coaster Tycoon content recently. It still exists and it's thriving.
That's great.
It's crazy.
What a phenomenal game.
It is. Never expected it to really go that hard.
Is when you'd put on the entrance, you'd put a no entry sign in front of the exit, so they couldn't leave. And then you'd have like cheap drinks, and then you'd make the toilets really expensive. I was an evil child, but it worked, you know? Customer satisfaction down, profits up.
You were less about the roller coaster, more about the tycoon, I think, is how that one worked there, Ox.
Yeah.
Is a true entrepreneur. Okay. Well, let me know. Like, I'm never going to go to your restaurant that you're going to open after being an LCK commentator.
Oh, man.
All right, T1 going to go for something else here, as we do have Soul Point on the table here for GENG. It's Infernal Soul as well. That is a big deal. But Canyon taking a lot of damage. That last Q from Faker had a hit. That could have been a big deal, as he has stacked up. At least his Seraphs does have his Rod of Ages now halfway stacked as well.
I feel like this is so much around the main characters right now. For T1, it really is Faker. He's doing so much damage. And for GENG, there's no surprises really. The Yuntal plus the Runans posing so much threat. Doesn't have the IE yet. That will be a massive spike, but still, he is such a problem to deal with. Keen also very pertinent threat. They are starting up the Dragon. This will be third for GENG, so T1 really want to have this on lock. Recall coming in from Chovy. He's going to make his way over there.
Immediate teleport going to come on through here from both the Rumble and the Galio, as Keen possibly going to get flanked here as Faker does come on over, but he has Carrier in tow. We do have the heroic entrance coming down. The equalizer does basically nothing, unfortunately. And Chovy's able to tank this one up. T1 using so many resources, and they have to realm warp themselves out. But Duro just catches them in the magnet. Handshake is decent, but it just brings Ruler closer. So the T1 will melt. Another Penta will be denied. This time it's Canyon that does it. But Ruler probably still happy. He's a 9-2 Zeri in this game.
That's just prime scenario for the Zeri. You saw T1 not thinking they can take a straight up 5v5. Look to try and shut down the Gwen on the angle. The Galio comes in to save, and then it's just cleanup time for the Zeri. This game was looking bad before. It only got worse.
Well, we know, T1 have made pretty heroic comebacks before, but I do feel like this whole engage just didn't quite work. Chovy manages to get him with the ulti and then lands a massive taunt.
Yeah, and then we get the slow comes in from the Pantheon, and then the engage from the Rel, and then this with the Runans as well.
Yeah, the ulti hits 4 at the same time.
It's just prime scenario for a Zeri at this point. And I feel like Ruler just, it was just like the most chill team fight ever.
He was so locked in, dude. He didn't say Penta once.
Wow.
That is...
It's serious.
He has grown, truly.
But it was just a very chill cleanup, The team was setting him up, and he just knocked him down.
Well, you know that that edge that goes really, really far, possibly never-ending. That has now been completed as Ona wanting to steal this one away. He does get stunned up, though, and then just put into the blender. Down goes Gumayushi first. The other con is secured by Ruler somehow, as Carrier trying to get himself out, but he just gets crashed into by this Rel. And now skating over the wall, Jet Set Radio Future here for Ruler, and he will be able to just zap down Faker. There's the pentakill for Ruler Zeri, as it doesn't work the first time. Why not just set it up again?
This time he slides in with the IE with so much damage, gets the Arakan as well. Not quite a hexa kill, but might as well be.
Yep.
You can see T1 just desperate to stop this objective. They dash in here, and the Arakan ends up going super low. Canyon actually smited early because he was about to die, but Zeri ends up getting it. Carrier tries to TP out, gets interrupted, and then here, Ruler's definitely going to call for it now.
Yep, let's listen to him celebrate. The man that gets denied the most pentas out of any other player on the planet. It will be Doran, Ruler able to lock it down, but Quadra kill comes in. I want to see the celebration. Ruler, give it to me. Wow, zero reaction at all. I guess maybe he's playing Zeri, so he's like, maybe it doesn't count. As Keen is going to be able to pick up a kill onto Doran here at the same time. Feels like a bit of a formality at this point in time. Last time they had a bit of a lead. It was nothing compared to this. It's 10,000 gold at 22 minutes. This game is a shellacking, and it is absolutely over.
It just doesn't even look close at this point. I mean, Ruler is so fed right now. 14-2 on this Zeri. You look at his items, and then I'm not going to say it, actually. I was going to say
Yeah, don't.
No, just don't.
No,
just
don't.
stay looking at Ruler's items.
Yep.
Don't look anywhere else.
Yeah, look to the left of the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, don't
Don't look at the number. The number is large.
look to the other side. It's wow. That is a. I can't remember the last time we've seen that much of an item.
A
difference.
3 completed item advantage.
Yeah.
Yep, no, that doesn't often happen. As Faker is not going to get killed by Ruler here, who I don't think can skate into 4 people and like do it by himself.
I kind of
just
see it
yet, but
for
maybe
science, you know. Maybe he could.
he does. He has a shield buff, so I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
He's also got the upgraded shoes. Chovy going to look for Owner here. Does manage to land the taunt, but Ruler not going to go too aggressive. Keen is, though, as in comes the Galio as well. Lands a nice double knockoff as the bailout is there, but it buys a few seconds maybe. And GENG are just going to pile in and destroy. Ruler looking to skate on over and just one taps the rest of Doran's health bar. And GENG, I think they're done having fun in this game. They're going to look towards game number 3 to try and close this one out. T1 will be back on the blue side, though, once again. I'm just glad that we get the full series between these 2 titans here in the LCK. Remember, stakes still massive for T1. They will have that first pick advantage. Let's see whether they can turn around this momentum.
A massive game from GENG, and I think possibly the most one-sided game we've had in round 3 to 5. Definitely up there.
It's insane to think about just with how extremely close the first game felt.
Yeah, so definitely coming back with a vengeance. And, you know, we talked about the risk of leaving the Pantheon up. At times, I'm like, oh yeah, there was a Pantheon. Because it felt like the main characters, in terms of the carries, were Gwen and Zeri.
And Rel.
Duro, I think, was the main character in terms of impact.
God, he was a
24
monster.
kill participation out of 25 kills in total. He was everywhere this game, setting up his carries perfectly. And if ever there's been a statement game, Duro definitely saying, we are going to win this series, doing his best to make sure we're taking it to 3 games and delivering on that promise.
Certainly did. Justice for supports has never felt so good with Duro and Carrier at the helm, possibly leading as far as our POM votes are concerned, but we'll have to see what happens in game number 3. Thankfully, we get one as this one's going the distance. Time for us to take a short break. When we get back to space, then we'll have that 3rd game of the Saturday Showdown.
나 이거 봐도 되나?
뒤에 럼블.
되잖아.
봐도 돼.
아, 오케이. 아, 오케이.
너무 빨릴 수도. 아니야, 이거. 괜찮아요?
나 괜찮아.
오케이. 미드로 갈래요, 이러면?
미드로 가자.
나 플래시 있어서. 잡았어? 라이트 잡아줄 수 있어.
들어가면 끝나겠다.
나 플래시 있어.
나 공을 못 맞췄나 보다.
나 라이즈한테 큐플 할 테니까 호응해줘요. 끝나면 바로.
형 이거
이거, 야,
라인
이대로 가야 돼,
끝났다.
이대로 가야 돼.
야 라인 끝내 그냥 하자.
타워 너무 아파.
For like not above a 1,500 gold advantage, because in both games it's been about 2.6k
Yeah.
at some point. So like let's aim for 1.5 And maybe that's salvageable, more manageable, I guess, instead of relying on some shenanigans around Otacons and things like this to get them back into a game 1 and getting colossally smashed in game 2. Shoutouts to Galio's passive.
One thing with the fact that Pantheon was let through is that now GENG back on red side, they can go Bay. You know, which is funny because they're banning Bard, who looks a bit like Baymax.
Yeah, true.
And they
wow,
can go...
wow, wow. It's one of my favorite sounds to ever exist in a movie, by the way.
It's pretty great.
It's so good.
Alistair ban comes through. Presumably this is the Yunara that's going to come forward.
Just kind of want them to ban something that starts with T, just so they can ban Bat.
Bat.
It'd just be kind of fun.
Unfortunately, Trundle was picked last time.
Yeah. And he has a bat as well. Oh god, it'd be so good.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Maybe they could ban Darius and then pick Ezreal and Draven.
The evolution said, so Yunara left open.
They can't spell
Remember,
pace.
game 1, T1 banned Yunara themselves. But I feel like they're gonna lock it in.
Yeah, so what is the answer then from GENG? Because they know that that has to be the first pick.
Yeah, and also, you know, we've seen...
Wait, Wukong hasn't been picked yet the whole series.
Yeah, didn't really get a look in last time because instead... So I feel like some things that you can think about are the fact that, like, Wukong, Rakan are available. The Kai'Sa isn't available, which you sometimes seen picked with the Yunara. Hasn't always gone super successfully, but it's been kind of that, like, you CC, you target it, you lock it down. But I certainly think that Wukong is what I would definitely look to prioritize here.
Yeah, I mean, you pick Annie Wukong, right? Because they also banned the Bard. So Bard has been such a great answer to the Monkey. And so now the Monkey gets to just run amok.
Wukong, Annie, Rakan as a first 3 would make it very hard to play a short-range TD carry if you can get the Rakan on 3. So we'll see. That has been the Wukong Annie has been the Rise group special in terms of pairings. Has been very successful.
Let's just see whether it's enough, because we've seen Yunara be pretty terrifying. As there is the Wukong Annie that we were expecting. Now T1 kind of forced to pick the Rakan. But we'll see exactly what they're going to be picking into it here. As Owner hovering some champions. Haven't necessarily got anything in mind just yet. Right now, considering outranging the Annie with a Victor. But it doesn't necessarily fill you with joy.
Yeah, I think the thing with the Victor is you obviously scale well, and it provides another target. So if the Yunara goes down, you have someone else to put out that DPS. So I think a lot of value there. Ultimately, though, you're still vulnerable to the same aggression that can challenge the Yunara. But, you know, if the engage comes on a one target, if you're split from them, you can put that gravity field down, you can put the ult down, you can cause disruption. They do go for the Skarner, though, which is one of those picks that I feel like this is something you typically see a lot from GENG, is like a Victor-Skarner duo. Definitely good at causing disruption, though. The grab, the ult as well from the Skarner can definitely disrupt and engage. We'll see if GENG opt to go for...
Just lock the Rakan. There's no Talia, there's no Poppy. You're just free to do it if you would like to. And there it is. I mean, it's the Rise Group special for a reason. And so far, out of the positives for T1, they got Yunara. And the positives end very abruptly with a large cliff, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, they've definitely... GENG have equipped themselves with the tools to shut down Yunara when it comes to those team fights. So, going to be a hard one to navigate. That being said, their composition now, you definitely want to bolster it with some sort of reliable DPS. We kind of saw that a little bit in game 1, where they had the engage options, they had the backline threat, but they didn't really have the follow-through in the rest of the fight.
Yeah.
You see the Ziggs ban come through, something that has been a little bit of the bane of T1 in previous matches.
Do you know what's really cool? They've there's no Orianna. She's already been taken away. Syndra isn't really in the meta at the moment, and so far, GENG had banned Ball, and there are no balls. Wow. Oh wait, no. Actually, Yunara has loads of them. Never mind.
Yeah, true.
Unfortunately, they didn't ban the Yunara, but they did ban the Ball. So maybe there's something to be said there.
Thank you for the contribution.
Yeah, the Nautilus didn't really help out, and I have now definitely derailed us.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Maybe I should stop spelling. I might need to work on that. But this is war for Gen G.
Okay, they deny the Xayah Rakan. We have seen Xayah a little bit into it. Jhin is open. I guess they could go.
I don't like the Jhin that much.
I think it just works when you go in, you have like the kind of ult on top.
Oh, we could just light things on fire. It doesn't feel like a lot of power in the early stages, though. And so the Jhin is what they're going to go back to here.
Yeah. I think when you go for the engage, you know, you pop the ult to kind of follow up, to kind of be providing that damage on top of that.
Yep.
Additional threat. It's just very popular in the meta, has that lane pressure as well.
And now counterpick goes over to Keen at the same time. So Doran needing to try and find something he wants to blind pick. I feel like in metas past, that would almost always be Gnar. And instead, it's going to be the Yorick, a champion that we have seen in Game 3s quite a few times, and something that Doran has made work before. Not a lot of the things that are commonly picked into the Yorick are up and available as well, as the Ambessa has been banned away, the Renekton has been used. All right, what's Carrier playing?
Cho'Gath is open.
Pyke is open. Don't know if it's a Pyke game.
Yeah, not sure I'd pair Pyke together here.
It's Tahm Kench.
Tahm Kench makes sense in terms of the safety. Not a pairing we've really seen too much with Yunara specifically, but it's a concept that makes sense. You know, you want to keep your carries alive into this.
Yep, also Carrier really wanted to pick an engage support, and he got one.
Yeah.
That's sort of his way. As the K'Sante, the Keen Sante, being hovered here, as he's grinning just a little bit. Let's see what is actually going to be confirmed. But this would make some sense given the player that we're seeing on our screen. And they will lock that one in. So Gen G going for the Rise Group special, understanding where the culture lies and respecting it here with the Rakan Wukong Annie that has just been so incredibly good. It's not necessarily breaking any records as far as creativity is concerned.
Yeah.
But it's tried and true, and it certainly works. T1, they have a Yunara, they have a Victor, and they have a Dream. And we'll see whether Gumushi can pop off.
It's one of those things, they have a lot of tools to shut down these carries. There's a lot of early agency. Skirmish is going to be phenomenal. We've seen how much the Wukong can do.
Yeah.
But you look on the other side and you have this Yunara Victor, and you think if this game goes late, if we get into the 5v5s, if they're not able to blow up the Yunara, I just think they kind of lack a good amount of damage.
Yeah.
You know, their sort of carry is the Jhin, who we've seen, you know, especially if he's pumping damage into a Skarner, can struggle a little bit. You have a tank top laner, you have a mid jungle who are about that burst combo. So I think T1, you know, we saw them absolutely failed to do that last game, but Weathering the Storm, definitely the MO in this one.
Yep, and it's once again, we're going to see who is going to make it to the milestone first, whether it will be Chovy or whether it will be Carrier. Based on who wins this game, we'll be coming away with that one as well in today's Saturday Showdown. Let's get into it.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, on the Rift for game number 3, the decider between T1 and Gen G in our best of 3 of best of 3s that we've had here in our rounds 3 through 5. Whoever wins this will come away with the series win. And if T1 are able to take it and get themselves towards that second place. But for now, HLE are leading. T1 looking for a few angles here as Doran has taken the pentakill skin. Kind of like that one. The base player Yorick just feels right, you know?
It's a good vibe.
It certainly is. All right, let's have a look at how things are going to start. I can imagine that the bottom side of the map is probably going to be pretty even between these two, although Jhin, would you say theoretically has a little bit of early agency?
Yeah, I mean, you can usually get the push, I would say, into the Yunara.
How do you feel about Gumushi ghosting the lane?
Love to see it.
I'm a big fan.
Get that first.
Already a bit of biffo here between the two bottom lanes, as Ruler will find that fourth shot.
Not gone too hard.
Yeah, the tempo heal going to come on through, and the barrier going to be used in response here. But the heal going to come down once again. Ruler just plodding his way over, holding onto that purple bullet.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah, does not manage to actually fire it into Gumayusi though. Some success for the Yanara thus far. Lane control well and truly in control by GENG.
Yeah, it's so much with the Yanara around using that Q once you have those empowered autos for your trading power. Guma's popped it now just to try and get the wave shove and match. It will be pretty close. It's actually level 2 hit about the same time between them.
And do you know what the best thing about this game is?
What?
Slurkles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're back there once again. I apologize. Oftentimes the Yanara is banned. But sometimes we just get to talk about Slurkles, and it's just really, really cool. Faker is going to find Canyon, but Owner is there alongside him. As both the mid laners just saying hi to the junglers, and will back away afterwards. Here's the Wukong anti-stats. As, yeah, have a look. The best team in the league has 2 victories with this combo. Tried and true.
Wow. I mean, it looks pretty... We always talked about it as being the Rise Group combo is doing so well there, but it's kind of crazy to see how well it's done just across the board.
Yep. Bro just being an inspiration to us all. And by us all, I mean the teams in the LCK, and I don't even think they did it first. But I'm going to give it to them anyway.
Of course you would.
Ruler and Duro do have control of this wave. But no whoopsies just yet. Cannons going the way they're supposed to, and all that sort of stuff. But a little bit of farm in advantage here for Ruler as Grand Engine's going to connect on to Carrier. Does eat the grey health and is going to be absolutely fine. Canyon just mowing through the jungle, has completed his first clear, and will be able to take this crab on the bottom side. Now going to look for a little bit of an angle as Duro has moved over.
Guma is kind of low. They go for... I mean, Ruler has the 4th shot as well. I think they've just burst him.
Yep, let's see whether they can find the angle in as Gumayusi is going to be able to make his way out, actually, as Ruler was tanking up the turret. They get the teleport out from the Yorick, and this could signify an early lane swap here for T1 as Owner is making his way and gets the flash out from Chovy. Very nicely played here as T1, decent amount of pressure, and the fact that they now get to move into a lane swap, I think is a big deal because Doran's teleport doesn't feel quite as bad.
I actually love plays like this where they like TP the top lane. I mean, Doran's never going to be there in time to make it, but one of the things is you go for a play like that on a Guma, and him losing out on the farm for the team feels like a net negative, but because you TP Doran down there, feels like you lose out a lot more overall. Managing to maintain tempo to a good amount.
Yep.
And Guma just able to slip away from that play, eats the 4th shot, and it's a little scary because he doesn't have barrier, right? So that dive that was coming through, heal wasn't available, no barrier. It felt like the burst might have just been enough, which is why GENG went for it. Weren't able to find it. I will say, however, though, Doran used his TP, Keen saved his.
Yeah, just walked down towards this bottom lane and gets this whole wave as it crashes into the turret. So this Cassante that was falling a little bit further behind is now feeling absolutely fine. Not to mention the fact that Doran hadn't bought yet. So he did have to go back anyway and then has to walk.
We do see a cold pickup from Guma, and he gets to pick up some farm here. So it works out pretty okay for both sides, I'd say. But yeah, we'll see if Keen manages to find an angle to utilize that TP advantage. Obviously did specifically save it there when he could have just... I mean, there wasn't a need to TP down when the wave's coming in, but we'll see if he finds an angle for it. Obviously, Yorick, we've said many times before, not really inclined.
Oh, Keen is going all out, and Doran is getting all out of there. Would be the response. Keen gets an extra 6 gold for his trouble as he takes down the ghoulies.
Actually, yeah, getting the XP advantage from those extra minions and the wave being in a bad state as well means...
He's holding the freeze as well. This is
3 CS picked up that glob though. That was pretty nice.
That was pretty good morning mist, to say the least.
He did not miss that morning.
No, he did not. Successful. Owner is going to come on over just to allow Doran to push this one up. But Canyon in position as well, being a tricky little warrior as he makes his way out. Bear comes down. The Arcane Storm is also going to be there. Gravity Well also helping out. As, yeah, the pesky bear, something that Faker now has to deal with. See whether he does get the extra 50 gold from it, though, as Chovy is going to possibly call Tibbers back.
Yeah, did pull him under the tower for a tower hit there. I think it's most annoying when he's up in your face and Chovy's trading with you.
Yeah, exactly. Having to deal with both at the same time is the important part, as Chovy is going to get licked momentarily. Death Ray comes on through, and Owner is coming in. Yep, no flash available for Chovy, so he's just going to get impaled to death. And that is first blood going over to the Skarner as well. A huge deal here for T1. The fact that their very tanky jungler is off to a good start.
You know, it's something I didn't really think about, but Tahm Kench and Skarner as a duo just have this insane ability to just get over terrain and find these gank paths.
Yep.
So there, Carrier finding the angle out of vision to just slide in here and get the tongue lash, and then on the other side, Owner coming over the wall. Just feels like great angles of attack here that left Chovy nowhere to go. And that flash that was burned earlier by Owner, obviously paying dividends there.
Yep, the return gank value going to come on through here for T1. And one of the better early games that they've had so far in this series.
Yeah, they have a lead, so that's already doing better.
Yeah, there's a knock up onto Carrier, but he's just diving his way out.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, you burn flash on Annie, and that alone is good, just denying the flash. But it's good to see them actually capitalizing and going for the turn gank. Now though, Genji starting up on the grubs, and Inara's in the bot side. Keen did teleport now though, so it would be a 4v4 on the top side.
There is a curtain call available for Ruler, so T1 respecting for now. Carrier possibly on an angle in, only level 5 here for the Tahm Kench. As Duro also. Canyon will be able to W over, then Duro with the follow, so 2 come through for Genji. The last one was secured there by Owner as well. So the feat of strength is going to go over to Genji, as Gumayushi doing a fair bit of damage, good Slurkle value there as well.
Yep. Holding up pretty okay in the matchup.
And I don't even know whether it was good Slurkle value, but I needed to say Slurkle.
Yep.
That was the main thing there. If you were looking at it, you were like, well, it didn't have much value.
I know who you are.
I know, but I was just making sure I explained it for everyone else.
That's fair. That's fair. I understand that.
Because maybe they were like, oh no, I just really don't think that Arc of Judgment really did much. If that was you, I mean, that's what the Slurkle is otherwise known as. That's its more wordy cousin, as far as titles are concerned.
Oh, he Tibbers stunned him, so he didn't get the cannon.
Oh my goodness, Chovy. That is how he has these CSD numbers. Duro is just going to dash away from Carrier here. Haven't really seen the combo put into full effect just yet. I imagine we may have a fight around a dragon, though, as the first one is going to be this Hextech Drake.
Yeah, up and available now. You see resets coming in for T1 for their top and 80 carry.
Chovy has also been very good at denying Tibbers gold.
Yeah.
Haven't you noticed that a lot of Tibbers just get sacrificed?
Yeah, and it is a lot of gold when you think about it.
Yeah. It's as much as a Nexus, we say it all the time. That's massive. Most important gold in the game. It's also the same as a Daisy. Or a Maiden, which is also here. So we'll see who gives the most gold, as Ruler is going to get exhausted. Carrier finds the gobble as the stun comes in, but I don't think Ruler's getting out of this one. Nice barrier, though, and he survives! And now the curtains are being called. The last bullet gets the flash. And by last, I mean first. And now Carrier, he's the one in bullet hell, but is going to survive momentarily. Oh, the deadly flourish coming on through there as Duro does make his way in. Man, Ruler is locked in today.
And what looked like a favorable play for T1. You think they finally found something. They're going to get Guma fed. Ruler baits with the barrier, outplays, and ends up forcing 3 sums to his 2.
Yeah. And Keen going to be able to take the first Nexus worth objective on the map. Equivalent to 2 dragons, you could say. As Genji, speaking of dragons, going to start off this one. Currently sitting on a 300 gold lead, doesn't mean a whole lot at this stage of the game. And not even going to commit to it. As Owner is so tanky. First item complete.
Yeah, Canyon doesn't have a first item completed yet.
Well, Ruler also doesn't have his ulti, so they're down a few buttons on the side of Genji. Chovy as well, his health bar relatively low. Slurkle going to connect. Duro gets in there with the quickness, finds quite a few, and down goes the Tahm Kench to start us off. Flash out from Owner, trying to keep himself alive as he's going to have to drive his way out of this one, but he will not be allowed to. Ruler delivered that kill. Gumayushi going down on the side, and GENG just wipe them out and then start back on the dragon.
And I think T1 opting into a fight that wasn't really necessary here.
Oh dear.
Oh, no.
The Keen Sante situation is happening once again as the flash in, and Keen drags him under his own turret.
Yeah, I think that's where Doran wants to be.
I was gonna say that was where he was heading. So
maybe on the angle he's not complying.
Oh, Doran was hitchhiking.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, he held his thumb up. That's what really caught Keen off guard.
Doran's ghoulie wall may be a little off there, but you know, T1 opt into this, and you don't have the ult on Yunara. I don't even believe they have the Arcane Storm either. And GENG, they're fine to take this. Their team fight is so good, especially at this point of the game where Guma's not online, Faker's not online. You really didn't need to take this fight. And I think you're just giving GENG a window into the game again. I think T1 can just let their carries scale up. Instead, the Dragon's given over to GENG regardless, but now they have that 2,000 gold lead that it feels like it's been a constant off this series.
Hey, but they don't have a 2,000 gold lead individually for Ruler.
Yeah, but not too far away.
They're getting there, but it's not quite there yet. And so that is important. That was the thing that we, you know, were starting to define the series on.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily end of the world, but it is not good news for T1. And only one more objective in GENG will lock down those feats of strength. It is only one kill that T1 have picked up as far as that race is concerned. They've already lost that one. So they're going to need first turret and the next 3 objectives if they do want to be able to upgrade their shoes. It's probably the last thing on their minds right now. Stability is what they're going to require.
Yeah. Just finding a way to slow down the game more than anything. And at least, you know, Doran's doing pretty well in the side lane. I was able to pick up some plates there. I say as I see him getting Tibbers. Oh, no, he's not doing so good anymore.
Yeah, there's a possible PvE, like a Pokemon battle that could happen here between the Maiden and Tibbers. Who wins out of the Maiden versus Tibbers? Could we get Doran and Chovy to agree to let them just duke it out? As they're both level 10, I mean, it's even right now, right? Sort of, ish.
Yeah.
Kinda. One item. Some shoes there, as Tibbers would benefit from that one, but that's okay.
Don't specifically know the answer to the question, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Never thought about it.
Maybe we should. We need to hop into the practice tool and start figuring it out. The big questions, you know?
I think Daisy would probably be...
Oh, Daisy's obviously completely OP.
Really?
She's the winner. She gets a 3-hit passive. We all know the best things in the game have 3-hit passives.
Oh, okay.
You know?
The thing is, I think the problem with the Maiden is the drain she gets. I think she only does it to champions. She needs Yorick to be hitting them, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's a shame. So I'd say that maybe that gives Tibbers the edge.
Maybe.
Because Tibbers is happy to hit anything.
Yeah.
Keen also not really wanting to hit Faker. Because it's not exactly the greatest of matchups. Faker holding him at bay. As Keen is able to at least mitigate some of the CC before getting the heck out of there. But the K'Sante has a bit of, like, CS in the lead. There is a slight gold advantage for Doran, who I believe has taken a couple of plates in his time. But GENG are pushing this advantage. Slurkle not even going to be enough to help here. I'm so glad I got another opportunity to say it. If you could just press it again, Gumiushi, on your way out, that'd be great. Never mind, we're going to check on Faker.
He's been doing a pretty good job of pressing it, you know. He's been getting it in. He is, okay, it's a little over a level. You know, he's about to hit level 9, but he's down in XP, down in gold. It's kind of been the theme of the game, but at least he's on the hyper carry this time.
Yep.
I mean, the last game they were both on hyper carries, but this time he is on the hyper carry. So it's a weather the storm angle. It's the hope and pray. Okay, that was a nice dodge.
Yeah, somehow managing to share some pixels with the turret there. Very nicely done. Keen back down here. Does have his Iceborne Gauntlet completed. And GENG feeling pretty relaxed at this stage of the game.
Yeah, Herald's up now, which would be feats of strength for GENG, so I imagine they'll be moving over towards it. T1 currently have Faker just matching against Keen.
What's the soul? Is it a Chemtech again?
T1 are hoping it is.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah, they're actually, so they're TPing Faker in. Are they going to TP Doran in or just let this go? I think the call is just let it go.
Yeah, Faker actually TPing to the top lane to grab the minions that were there. I think the turret may have actually just straight up died to minions if he hadn't have done so. Slurkle comes out, doesn't find Ruler.
That's feats of strength. That's also the Herald, which you can use to try and get that first tower.
The triple feats of strength?
I it stops count, unfortunately. It feels a bit dissatisfying. the
I
fact that
know.
it
Shouldn't you
doesn't show it.
count it up
Yeah.
for each of the things, no matter what? That's what I kind of thought.
Just really show it,
Yeah.
demonstrate it.
Because I like seeing it all filled in.
Yeah.
But we never get to see it all filled in.
But I think T1 making the right decisions to slow the pace down.
Yeah. And there it is. It's going to be filled in by T1 if it was still available to be filled in, but it wasn't. As Carrier going to flash away, thinking that there was a scary monkey looming, and there indeed was. And this gold lead, it's not the same as it was in either of our first 2 games for GENG. But remember, T1 won one of those games. So it's not like we're going to be signing any, not writing eulogies yet, you know? But it is getting close. As GENG on the Dragon, Chovy just going to leave, as there was a bit of a surprise waiting for him on the top side. Wanders back to this lane now, as let's see whether this dive is going to work out. Chovy's going to get that unfortunate news that there is a Skarner in the area, but Duro's made his way over, does interrupt Owner as well, as he does drive on through, but the tower is going to fall. T1 grabbing 2 actually already.
I think they can be pretty happy with that. You know, they're going to TP Yorick in here as well.
Yeah, now Canyon gonna have to be a bit tricky here to get himself out of the way, but they're not even able to lock down this mid outer turret.
This is pretty fantastic, right? You take 2 towers, you defend your mid tier 1, Carrier tanks the ignite with a great health.
There you go.
Everything's going good. All things considered, the early deficit being kind of staved off a little bit now. That mid tier 1 is low, and it looks like this top tower, bot tower, sorry, is gonna die.
The top tower is also kind of a breath away from dead, like a stiff breeze would be able to take it down. So
But I think the position the game was in, we could have definitely seen a scenario where GENG just take all 3 out of towers and T1 get nothing. So at least the positive I'm saying is T1 got some answers back. It's not all doom and gloom.
it's a bit of doom and gloom though.
It's a bit, it's not all.
No. And GENG still have a Jhin composition, and if there's anyone that knows that Jins can be disappointing, it's me. I've based a lot of my career on it.
Yeah. Very much a Jhin anti.
Indeed. Jin's also been, for me, disappointing in the other direction as well. I remember. Faker Mr. Cannon. Oh, God.
You know what? Let's just not talk about it.
It was actually, my point was going to be about T1 as well. I believe it was when Jackie Love was playing Jhin, and I tweeted about it. I'm like, oh, look at this. Jin's doing nothing. And then he got a quadra kill on the topside jungle, and they lost.
So it's your fault.
It was my fault. I apologized immediately afterwards and stopped tweeting for the rest of Worlds, I think, that year. Which did work out in our favor, okay, I might add, as Ruler gonna get slurkled up. That keeps him in the ghoulie wall and forces the flash, as they manage to take the entire outer ring of turrets against the flow of play here in this game.
You know, GENG have, you know, Annie, Rakan, and Wukong, but they don't have Slurkle into ghoulie wall.
Exactly!
Which is a very threatening engage combo, as we just saw. Able to catch out Ruler there, get his flash. And if you're looking towards that dragon in 2.5 minutes, or even potentially the Arakan,
okay,
Ruler not having flash is something.
That is something. There's another thing that is just completely wrong that's been posted in our prompter. It says Yorick's wall is a slurkle, Skarner's W is a slurkle, Faker's ult is a slurkle, Yunara's orb is a slurkle, that one's true, and Carrier's W dive is a slurkle. Let me let you know, okay? The dive is a slocker, okay? And Faker, his ultimate is just a circle. Doesn't actually do any slowing.
Yeah.
Keen is a raid boss, and he's going to go all out, brings in the Yorick, and where did he go? He might be inside a Slurkle right now, but that's in the death chamber. We cannot see it, as Chovy finding a nice double stun here, as well as Owner looks to come through, but he's delivered by the Kazante, and down goes the Scon. Oh God, it is a bloodbath as GENG just mow them down. The Otacon going to be taken as well, as Faker, the last man standing, and there is nothing that he can do. He can throw out a Stunkle.
You're struggling there a little bit.
I was attempting. As 4,000 assists here for Chovy, and he's looking to augment that with his 500th win as well. Third in the LCK, just behind BDD and Faker, who have been here forever.
This was desperate. I mean, Keen set this up completely, finds an angle onto Doran here. Beautiful positioning to get him next to the wall, slides him next to Arakan. He's just so beyond dead. And then bonus points because Ona tries to look for Chovy here, and Keen ends up catching him when he goes in.
Oh, man.
Flips him over. He just gets taken out as well.
And Canyon is like delivered as a Beyblade to his enemy to his enemy team, yeah.
And then Dura comes in with the ult to clean up. I mean, just some excellent play right now from GENG and oh, Doran.
Oh dear. Doran's health bar looked large, but Chovy makes it much smaller. As another Q will do it, and down he will go. Wants to invest a flash there as well. Felt like Chovy deserved it. And maybe that's true. As now they will move to a 5.5k gold advantage. They have Arakan, they have feats of strength, they have they don't have an outer ring of turrets. That's all they're really missing here as Ruler fires off the 4th shot, runs his way away. And he is going to be more than fine. T1 really circling the drain in this game.
Yep.
So let's go back to it. So there was the Slock Up. There was the Stunkle, which was difficult for me to say. I got stumped on that one.
That sounds like an uncle to say.
Yeah. And then there's the Slurkle, the classic.
Yep.
And Doran has the Wurkle.
The Wurkle?
Because it's a wall circle.
Oh, okay.
So it's the Wurkle.
The Wurkle.
Yeah. So that's all.
I think I prefer Ghoulie Wall.
I mean, Ghoulie Wall is way better, but technically, if you were going to do it like a Slurkle, it would be a Wurkle.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe it could be a Ghoulie Wurkle. We could call it that if you'd like to. Because, you know, if you think about it, Cataclysm's also a Wurkle, so it's not clear. Maybe you do need to add the Ghoulie clarification.
Are there any other Slurkles in the game?
There's loads of them. Lots of circles do slows.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of one specifically.
Nivea's Glacial Storm
Oh, nice one, true.
is indeed a Slurkle.
Yeah, that's a big Slurkle.
If Faker builds a Rylai's, then the Arcane Storm becomes a Slurkle.
Oh, it becomes a Slurkle, so you can change...
you can build Slurkles in this game.
Wow.
It's beautiful. It's like Minecraft.
But his W does slow as well as stunning? Is it like the...
Oh, that's true. It's a Slurkle into a Stunkle, isn't it?
But do you prioritize the harder CC, or do you just say it's...
Yeah, do you base it on its potential?
Why are you asking
or what's
me?
more
You're
likely?
the expert.
No, I'm asking the rhetorical question because it is technically
you're
both.
the expert on the subject. I am asking you.
It's Schrodinger's Slurkle.
No, I am specifically
Can it be both?
No, I'm asking you. You're the authority.
Oh, wait, maybe it's a Stunturkle.
A Stunturkle. Okay. We are really pushing the limit of stupid things said on broadcast.
I don't even think that makes sense at all.
Oh,
but
that
it was
doesn't
very fun to say.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, I mean, this is the whole point, is that it's fun to say.
This is where you're drawing the line.
Yeah, I am.
This is where you've said tempo vibes made sense completely. Slurkle, yeah, that's cool.
I'm so sorry. You've really copped the brunt of all of this.
Stunturkle is where you're like, oh, I think I've gone
this is a bit too silly. Yeah.
Well, at least you've established that now. Thank you.
If you've watched Monty Python's and now for something completely different, you'll know that there is a line for "This is too silly."
Okay. Well,
and,
I'm glad we
they're in a similar position, I think.
Yeah.
As it's now a 6,000 gold lead. The reason why we're talking about Stunturkles and things like that is because as T1 are doing their very best to find vision around this map. The GENG have so much extra control. And 2.5 minutes is likely when we're going to see the next fight. And if T1 can perform a miracle there, then maybe there's a way back in. As Doran, once again, finding some bad guys, but now has Ona with him. Warrior Trixie does bring Canyon over, as that is going to be the red buff secured. There's the Impale as well, but Chovy will turn up. Ona having to flash away. The curtains have been called. Ona is able to... Oh, never mind! The last shot going to come through! And no one can escape this GENG today, as Duro able to just dash his way out of there. GENG find a couple of picks. This could break open even more of the base.
Just feels like there's no real recourse from T1. They're kind of just trying to get people out, run away, disengage from the situation. Oh, no.
Oh, dear. Yeah. He's going to get closed in on. His health bar disappears in the blink of an eye as the flash forward from Keen, looking for an angle, still wanting to find more, even though there is a Yunara and a turret there. But Gumbayushi just not really doing the damage. The Ghoulie Wall comes down, looking a little bit sad there as well. Would have liked the cat skin just for the Ghoulie Wall to add a little bit of happiness.
Remember when we had hope that this was going to be a 3-gamer?
Yeah, well, I mean, it is a 3-gamer.
Oh, no, sorry, that this was going to be a close 3-gamer.
Yeah.
Right, it is a 3-gamer. Remember when we thought this was going to be like a tooth and nail 3-gamer and it's just been 2 stomps?
Well, I have teeth and nails, okay? So technically it still is.
Yeah. I guess Wukong does. A lot of these champions have teeth and nails.
Yeah. It's a general thing with creatures.
Yeah.
Just in general. Although I haven't quite inspected all of the models, as yeah, just didn't quite work out there. As I believe, was Keria actually trying to flash to block the shot?
I think he was trying to eat Ona. Yeah, didn't
quite. Oh.
Yeah, where did he go?
Well, you know how they banned...
He's taking a nap. I like it.
Do you remember when GENG banned Ball? They managed to kill Ball.
Oh, Tibbers is Tibbers gonna kill him?
Oh.
I want to know.
Well, we're not going to see it. As Doran in a rough spot.
Just keep running, Doran.
Well, that is Canyon getting slowed down there, so not going to be able to quite close in on the Yorick.
There's no Krugs there. I think Canyon might have killed them. How dare he?
Oh my, no wonder Doran was fighting him, but he did have to flash away. Canyon still has his flash available as Ona now going to get slowed down, and catching Duro was never going to be an easy one.
Okay, we're flanking.
Yeah, Duran Ruler possibly in trouble. Let's see how the Ghoulie Wall is going to connect as the Morning Mist is going to miss. So, okay. Morning Mist, it missed.
Yeah. Also, Ghoulie Wall not very effective against Rakan.
Oh, that's that 50 gold that we were talking about as well. As Duro, that's a little bit frightening as they do avoid the knockup, but oh, even the Battle Dash gets him out. Oh, Duro, that is unfair. They deserved that one. Well, I think Justice for Supports may be actually carrying some weight here in this game.
I think it's a pretty good day for it.
Yeah. Okay, that's how that happened.
Yes, the outplay button.
Yeah, and then Faker noticed that there weren't very many buttons left available for Chovy.
And then what happened with the one?
Okay, yeah. Tibbers. Okay, we're gonna cut the video.
Yeah.
We'll never know. Maybe the space. No, don't give us that replay. I don't think we want that one. And Canyon just going to solo this last remaining Elemental Dragon and lock down the Infernal Soul.
I think after seeing that clip of Chovy one-shot Guma, I think I really was just asking myself, what did GENG need? More burst, I think.
Yep.
I think they were lacking that. So they now have more burst. By the way, Ruler is more than 2 levels up.
Yeah, he's hit 2.5k again. So that's 3 games in a row.
To be fair, at least he's not the only one with 2.5k.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. And Faker is ahead in farm by about 40 CS over Chovy.
Well...
Talk about stats that are real that don't really mean all that much. Slurkle slows down Canyon momentarily, but T1, I don't think they're defending this particular inner turret. Still, they want to try by the looks of things. Deadly Flourish going to go a little bit wide as the Maiden getting amongst it. Gumyushi doing his best with that Q. Some more Slurkle value, but still the inner turret will fall down. Keen just walks up, pulls in the Maiden, and finishes off that tower. Baron going to be up again in 2.5 minutes in this game, but GENG, I mean, they just have so much damage. Chovy with his death cap now done, as well as Shadow Flame Malignance. Even though this Annie is the one with the smallest gold advantage, he is still doing so much damage in this game. As, yeah, see, there, for example, Ona was a tank, by the way, guys, and now he is dead.
He just got deleted completely. They're gonna kill the Maiden now?
Oh no, there's no recourse. As now Chovy having to deal with the Arcane Storm. Faker able to take him down, asserting his dominance against his opposite number, but still the result is going to be a dead inhibitor in this mid lane. And I think this is just confirmation that Chovy isn't getting POM for this game.
For the series.
For his 500th win.
Yeah. Media when they can't just vote for Chovy.
Yeah, they're like, what are we going to do? It's going to be Ruler. You got
Who did the most damage?
Yeah, I think Ruler's probably going to get a few votes. He may even win. And honestly, we can't be too upset about it because he's been running the bottom lane.
Oh, he just ulted him and then he did the blast cone into laser combo.
Yep.
Flash. Pretty neat. Faker's still really trying to make this game happen.
Absolutely.
I feel like it's a hard sell.
I mean, this is, as far as uphill battles are concerned, this is going to be a big one. I remember a time where Faker hit an ultimate on 4 people when they were behind 10,000 gold against a team called EDG, and then they won.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep, that did happen.
that happened. So they're going to have to channel some of that. That's all I got.
Well, if GENG do all stand together...
EDG didn't have Soul at the time, though. Or Arakan. Or Grubs. Because they didn't exist.
Yeah. I mean, Grubs won't really help you that much. Since
No. But it was just another thing that they didn't have.
yeah. Well, Chovy just...
Did he miss a cannon?
He just missed a cannon.
Oh my goodness.
He's crumbling.
Wow, the 400s really were his prime. The 500s not really getting there.
Who is this player?
Yeah, he needs to lose this game so he can stay on the 400s for longer. Oh, wait, no, he won't be. It's still his 500s
On Annie as
win,
well?
theoretically.
This champion, pretty good at CSing. Okay, here's another attempt.
Wow, we're not even going to watch it. Jonas Strong, not interested. He doesn't want to watch Annie farm.
Of course he'll get this one.
He's almost at Void Staff as well. As the Maiden going to be split pushing. Nice work.
I guess the
See whether they can get some bounty gold as in goes Dura, out goes Dura. Canyon, oh, this flank angle, they do get vision, but it's just a little too late. Still Gumayushi's able to flash his way up, but Canyon still so healthy. There's the flash forward, and Chovy says good night to the top lane of T1. The Inara tried, but T1 are now all on the floor. That is going to be the game win from GENG, and it is back-to-back massacres here in games 2 and 3. As GENG really wanting to put an end to this regular season that feels good, and man, they are going to be one heck of a raid boss moving into playoffs.
And game 1 convinced us that, you know, these two teams were going to go pound for pound, blow for blow, but GENG win about that life. 2 crushing defeats in game 2 and 3. Extremely decisive
brutal.
domination.
Yeah.
I feel like GENG wanted to end the regular season strong and with a super dominant performance. Chovy gets his 500 wins.
There it is. Just behind only 2 others as Peanut and Faker are ahead of him. Really impressive stuff. And I remember when we were talking about Chovy as one of our young players in the LCK. Know how time has flown, because of course he has been here for 6 years now. Wow. Creating milestones all over the place. Canyon as well. One of that generation.
With this, T1 won't be able to make second place. They are in 3rd. It's GENG first, HLE second, T1 3rd. So they won't make it through the round 2 of playoffs. GENG doing HLE some big favors there.
Absolutely are.
But you know they didn't do it for HLE.
Nope, they certainly did not.
They
and
did
also,
themselves.
and it might have honestly been okay for T1 because playing more games, getting that extra ramp-up time has helped some of the teams in the past. Especially teams with Doran on them.
Yeah.
When you get into the domestic playoffs. So I imagine T1 not going to be too worried about it, but you saw on the faces of GENG, especially Chovy there, that game 1 that they lost, that bothered them.
Yep.
And some teams tilt, other ones take revenge, and GENG certainly took revenge in this series. That was definitely brutal.
I just think they really need to figure out the early mid game, because even the game they won, the way in which they won it was so many clutch, big plays that were massive from T1. And I do want to give them credit. There were some masterful plays from Doran, from Faker, from Guma. But it just shows how much effort they had to put in to win that game. Whereas in comparison, GENG's 2 wins were just blowouts.
Yeah.
And it felt like T1 had to work so much harder for their win. And I think if you're falling behind this hard consistently every game, there's no way you're winning at a best of 5. So definitely a lot for T1 to think about as we go towards the playoffs. I think Dura had a pretty fantastic day overall, but I think across the board, everyone had a pretty fantastic day. I think Chovy...
Yeah, Chovy was just chilling.
He had that massive taunt on the Galio, but I definitely think the picks he was playing were more, you know, Aurora, Annie, Galio, a lot more about setup, a lot more about...
and the second half of the year, the season, honestly, Chovy has been a lot of facilitators, right? He has been playing a lot of Annie, a lot of Galio, things like this, allowing for some POMs to come in for his teammates.
Yeah.
I assume your vote was for Dura. We'll see whether he does manage to pick it up, because honestly, it's between him and Ruler, and I do think that his Rel performance was unbelievably good.
I mean, I think all 3 games he was the big reason why they had a major lead.
I would agree. I think the Tangle Barbs in game 1 especially were very, very impressive. Has a big grin on Canyon's face, having a bit of a resurgence in the next couple of games. His Pantheon and Wukong definitely good.
Yeah. I mean, I think just game 1, the early dive. Game 2, he was just everywhere. Game 3 was maybe a little bit quieter from him, but yeah, I think just a pretty fantastic performance. Chovy was pumping the numbers. That is for sure. Did miss that cannon though, so, you know.
Yeah, I mean, certainly some things to VOD review moving into the next one, but I wasn't expecting 36k from the Annie in this game, especially when that was the smallest gold advantage that they had. He is, of course, probably the one more likely to do the damage, as, yeah, Ruler is going to pick it up. No justice for supports here today, but Ruler did also get a quadra kill into a pentakill in game number 2. Went absolutely ballistic in game 1. In every single game, had over a 2,000 gold lead against his opposite number, and just in all ways kind of just dominated the bottom lane.
Yeah, you know, it's just how it is, right? I just think it's crazy that Duro hasn't gotten a POM.
He has.
Round 3 to 5. Round 3 to 5.
All right.
Hasn't got one round 3 to 5, which is kind of crazy to me. So.
Yep. Kind of nuts.
I thought this would be the one. Unfortunately, boom boom damage.
And the problem is you're on a team with Keen, Ruler, and Chovy. Just easy to vote for. Not to mention Canyon, who managed to win our like POG, like a player of our MVP award, like 2 years in a row, 3 years in a row, something like that. I mean, it's just tough competition here for Duro to be able to pick up those.
I mean, I obviously think Ruler played fantastically.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, I think that game 2 in particular, the rel, he took over that game. So.
He was so good. I imagine that there will be some extra Duro votes as well. Unfortunately, we won't see him in the team interview because he's got a bit of a sore throat here today. Obviously didn't show in his play very much because he was an absolute menace. But the rest of GENG going to be able to have a conversation with us as well, which is going to be pretty cool.
His throat was probably sore because in game 2, he was shouting, "I'm ganking," so many times. He just wore his throat out.
That is true. He did do it for the entirety of the early game.
Yeah.
And mid-game.
So, makes sense. But it'll be nice to hear from both the teams. T1 as well, hear some thoughts about, because obviously they'll want to bounce back from this for playoffs. But
yeah,
I think, you know, I think someone who it was talked about in the space a little bit, has had some rough performances in this matchup specifically before, is Faker. I think Faker played really well today.
I'd agree.
You know, had that clutch moment in game 1, and I think was the one who struggled the least overall. So, you know, he at least was in good form.
I would say, like, Faker and Doran probably get a pass. Doran mainly just for game 1 because he was so instrumental. Game 2 and 3 probably a bit forgettable there. But the bottom lane not necessarily performing the way that we have learnt to expect from T1 moving into this series. A lot of that to do with Ruler and Duro having an absolutely insane performance here today, but certainly something to go back and check out for Goomer and Carrier there towards the bottom side of the map, because they have been linchpins here for T1.
Yeah, and I think I'm sure they'll bounce back. We know these players are going to bounce back, but it's just, yeah, not the day.
Yeah, when the tournament becomes playoffs, generally that's when T1 just becomes way better. Is kind of how that one goes. Worlds on the line, that is going to be what they're going to be focused on. And we are going to have these the interviews prepared pretty dang soon as well. So you got to get a comment in.
The saying, I'm on camera, and then you'll do the thing.
Yeah, so I think we have to, well, we can go to the, let's go to the interview first while you can do it, okay?
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Dear for the team interview. For both sides that just played their season finale. And we will start with GENG. Aside from Duro, who isn't feeling well, please welcome Keen, Canyon, Chovy, and Ruler. Congratulations! First, let's talk to Keen. The attitude of the reigning #1. You are coming out of the final match of the regular season. How does it feel to defeat T1? No, that was our last match of the regular season, and I really wanted to finish off with a banger, and I'm just really glad that we're able to get that victory. And in game 1, in game 2, despite the heavy pressure earlier on, your Gwen still shredded the game. So, how did you feel playing out? You know, yeah, I did feel like they're focusing me down. Honestly, but if I look back to the entire match, it did feel pretty comfortable overall. And even in Game 3, your Kisante was on point. And you have so many competitive top laners to face in the future. So, what message do you have for them? I don't really have much to say, but I hope that we have an enjoyable match. That was keen, everyone. And next we have Canyon. With the playoffs coming up, this match was your checkpoint to test your form. So, what did you focus on? Since this was the last match before the playoffs, I just really wanted to focus on, keeping our form up. And with Pantheon being open in Game 2, you were able to secure the win. And your Pantheon actually has a 4-win, 1-loss record. So this must mean that no one should dare leave Pantheon open for you, right? Yeah, lately Pantheon's been being released. And I feel like Pantheon actually is very playable and actually pretty viable when it comes to having to counter him as well. So I think that's probably why, but I do believe that I am pretty confident with Pantheon. And in Game 3, you left Yunara open and took Wukong and Anthony, and it worked well, so who pitched the idea? I think we just wanted to leave Yunara open, and we were ready to just take other OP picks. So I think we were just all really aware of how to proceed with the draft. And there's about 2 weeks left until the playoffs, so how will you prepare? As far as I'm aware, there will be another patch for the playoffs. And I think we'll just have to go over our tier list again and make sure that we have it all ready and prepared by then. And next up, we have Chovy. Chovy, 29 wins, 1 loss, 48 points. With such a dominating regular season record, you were actually the top player of the match as well. How does it feel? This was our last match, and this was actually a really crucial point where we can check our form, and I'm really happy that we had a pretty good performance, and I'm even happier that we were able to finish off with a victory. And with GENG's victory, Hana Life Esports clinched second place. And yesterday, Delight actually sent some support for you guys, so did you hear? I just found out about that. But I guess thanks for your energy, thanks for your support, we were able to win today. And you have another milestone in the book. You are the second mid laner in the LCK to reach 500 wins. Congratulations. What a happy day, of course. How does it feel? I got 500 wins, and it feels like, I got a lot of wins, and I want to make sure to keep on winning to reach 600 and 700 wins. So how are you just able to keep performing so well, if you can give us 2 secrets? Well, I think I just really focus on what I have to do to fulfill my own duty. And I think just trying to minimize my mistakes actually does show off and reflect a better performance. And I think just always having a goal in my practice actually also helps a lot. And GENG will be waiting for everyone else at the peak of playoffs. And you guys will have the power to pick your opponent. So which team will you pick? I don't know who will make it to the playoffs, but I believe that it is right for my team captain and the head coach to pick. So I will just leave it up to them. And what mindset do you have for the playoffs? I believe the playoffs is the most crucial, and this is only the beginning. So we'll make sure that we are well prepared. And next up, we have Ruler. In the LCK after your return to GENG, you finished 29 wins and 1 loss. How do you look back? I'm very satisfied, actually. in every game today, it really all came down to your champion to scale. So how did you feel, especially about game one actually? So after the loss in game one, I think I was able to bounce back and I made it up. So I'm just really happy, honestly, right now. And in game two, you got your 8th LCK pentakill. And of course, we have this replay ready. Classic Seri. You say it's so sharp. Honestly, I was just so fed at this point. I feel like autoing them a few times, they would just die. They just rolled over, so I don't think there was anything special or flashy here. I think my teammates just really supported me well.
그 전까진 너무 좀 친구들이
You know, yeah, I mean, I deserve a lot of pentakills, but of course, my teammates, I mean, these tricksters, they've been stealing my pentakills. And with today's match, you're on the board as the player with the most pentakills, so congratulations! Are you going to keep greeting for pentakills then? Of course! I'm going to always stay thirsty for pentakills, and I hope that my teammates are cooperative. Do you agree with him? You know, now that we didn't steal the pentakills, it feels like he is just so ungrateful. What approach will you take for the playoffs? I feel like we'll just stay on track with wherever we are headed towards. I think we'll just focus on, you know, the macro play and the team fighting, and I think that's just it won't really change much. It'll stay the same. And as the team captain, Ruler, please send a message over to your fans. You know, Duro. Actually, not. There are many fans who must be watching us from home, and given that today is Saturday, I hope you have a happy weekend. And thanks to you guys, we had a very happy Saturday showdown, and that's the end of season team interview with GENG. And in just a moment, we will have a team interview with T1.
아쉽게 패배했지만 정규 시즌 마지막 경기를 마친 T1 선수 전원과 인터뷰를 나눠보겠습니다. 네, 그리고 저희가 기술적인 이슈로 T1 선수들과의 인터뷰가 진행되지만 위쪽에 팀 로고가 T1이 보이지는 않습니다. 팬분들의 양해 부탁드립니다.
Due to some technical difficulties, we won't be able to show T1's logo on the screen.
그룹 3위로 마무리하게 되었는데요. 그간 정말 고생 많았던 T1 선수들과도 뜻깊은 인터뷰를 한번 나눠보도록 하겠습니다.
And T1 has finished third place in the Legend group. Now we will have the team interview for T1, who just reached the end of regular season. Please welcome Doran, Owner, Baker, Gumayushi, and Keria. Doran, you are coming out of the last match of the regular season. How do you look back? You know, the season has been so long since the change of the system, but you know, there's a lot left to be desired, and I think we could have done a lot better, but I'm happy that it has come to an end. And after joining T1, you have shown that you're blending pretty well in with the team. What did you communicate with the team the most? I feel like we just happened to get along really well in the team. I think communicating was not the biggest issue. I'm actually doing really well communicating with the team and staying on the same page as them. And I feel like based on all the data we were able to collect with all the experience that we got throughout the season, I think we were able to grow as a team. And Owner, you finished third place in the Legend group, and we saw how fired up T1 was. So how would you rate this regular season? I feel like we had a good opportunity to reach second place, but with the playoffs remaining, I hope that we can bounce back with a refined form. And there are some things to celebrate and some regret. What would you like to improve? Once we make it to the playoffs, there are matches that will really all come down to all the fundamentals and the basics. And I believe that once we have a solid fundamental, then we would be able to clean up our performance. And what are you looking forward to in the playoffs? When it comes to our team, I believe that we have a ceiling that we can reach and we can always do better. I'm really looking forward to how well we will play. Next up, Faker. Ahead of the playoffs, you just played against GENG. So what did you try to focus on today? It's right before the playoffs, so I personally wanted to really focus on our own performance rather than the result itself. So that's what I really try to focus on. So what approach will you take in preparation of the playoffs? For the playoffs, I think we'll try our best to show everyone what we have been practicing and what we have been preparing. And I think that just will be the reflection of everything that we have been preparing so far. And for the hardworking teammates you have played alongside the entire season, do you have any message for them? It was a rough season with a packed schedule, and I feel like everyone worked so hard, and they're still working very hard, and I want to tell them thank you. And next up, we have Gumayushi. It was the last LCK match. How does it feel to finish the regular season? It was such a lengthy, yet such a season that just felt like a zap. So it just leaves a lot to be desired, to be honest. And what do you expect from the playoffs? Given that it's best of fives, I'm expecting a lot of diverse picks to come out. And because you can rise back from the lower bracket, I feel like there's going to be a lot of fun. And any message over to your fans? First of all, thank you so much for your unconditional support. And I feel like today we showed you such a regretful loss, but T1 has always showed a strong side in the playoffs. So I want to make sure that we are able to bounce back. And Keria, in this regular season, you reached 800 POM points. How do you look back at the season? As for this regular season, we had some home ground, and we made so many nice memories with the fans. And I really wanted our last match before the playoffs to be a good one, but it feels like a bummer. And you have 2 weeks left, so how will you prepare? With it becoming a best of 5, I think we will actually have to prepare for a lot of different picks, and it's going to look very different. So I want to make sure that we are prepared. Today felt like a regret. It feels like a shame. So I want to make sure that we come back stronger so that we have so much more to show to our fans. And back to Faker, what message do you have for your fans? In rounds 3 to 5, I feel like we had improved our performance as compared to rounds 1 and 2. And for the playoffs, we'll definitely prepare well in preparation for the playoffs. So please look forward to our performance.
인터뷰 고맙습니다. 분석
And that's the end of the season finale team interview with T1.